shot at an apartment complex off Cobb Parkway.
Working with license plate reader technology and with assistance from the Atlanta Police Department, that suspect vehicle was located in the middle of the night down in southwest Atlanta.
But no sign of Banks. Anybody who sees the suspect or has information on his whereabouts being asked to call 911. We do have his picture at WSBradio.com. Your weather for today, cloudy and breezy, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz, and rain is going to be back in the forecast. You'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming your way at 12:05. A dire warning about Hurricane Melissa as she's headed for Jamaica.
It will cause catastrophic damage, life-threatening damage. There is very little that can stop a Category 5 hurricane.
That's Evan Thompson, who is Principal Director of the Meteorological Service of Jamaica. This is a powerful Category 5 storm. It'll be the strongest storm to hit the island since they started keeping record 174 years ago. This storm expected to cut across the island starting at St. Elizabeth in the south and then exiting around St. Anne Paris in the north. It's packing 185-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 215 miles an hour. 7 deaths have already been blamed on Melissa. Bond denied today for a Douglas County couple facing charges of extreme child abuse involving their baby.
William King and Amber Rivera are behind bars after their 5-month-old daughter is found with 30 broken bones in Lithia Springs. Prosecutors say the infant, who was born prematurely, suffered fractures to her ribs, arms, legs, and wrists. The parents, both 20 years old, told investigators the baby girl was injured in a car crash, which was never reported. The couple now faces at least 18 charges, including child cruelty, aggravated battery, and obstruction. The infant is now in the custody of DFACS. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
4 more alleged drug boats targeted by the U.S. military. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying a total of 14 so-called narco-terrorists were killed in the Eastern Pacific, with 1 known survivor. Charlie Daggett has been following details from Washington.
14 individuals were killed. The survivor, there was a search and rescue that was scrambled, largely with help from Mexican search and rescue teams.
Now the 4 vessels were hit in 3 different strikes. Now the latest on the government shutdown.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says Democrats are more focused on appeasing their radical Marxist supporters than opening up the government.
They will appease that base at any cost, no matter how much pain's inflicted.
This woman is among more than 40 million who rely on federal food assistance and says if benefits run out this weekend,
I'll have to ask my children to help me.
Democrats say the government could fix that, but won't.
Now, this is the 28th day of the government shutdown as federal employees go without a paycheck. And this is new at noon. Air traffic controllers at Hartsfield's big airport, Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta, they're among those handing out leaflets today to passengers as this shutdown drags on.
Nicole Sarunas has been directing planes from inside the tower at Hartsfield-Jackson since 2009. After receiving her first $0 paycheck today, she says she's feeling frustrated.
Every day this goes on, it's compounding.
She says she's concerned about the safety issues that could come up if the agency that's already short-staffed continues to lose pay and workers.
We're above the politics with this all. We just want to go into work. We want to do what we're trained to do, and we want to make sure that we're compensated for that.
Workers were passing out leaflets at 20 other U.S. airports today. At Hartsfield-Jackson, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The Department of Natural Resources unanimously approving an increase in park fees for visitors at state parks, with prices doubling in many instances. Single-day visitor passes jumping from $5 to $10 a day, but one board member notes that rates have not gone up since 2009.
I'm going to propose the motion for this, but I'd also like us to consider going another 16 years after this. I'm very proud of the Park Service and what they've done, and they can stretch a dollar better than anybody I've seen.
Now, the fee for most annual passes goes from $50 to $70. Discounts on all fees will apply for certain groups such as seniors, active duty military, and disabled veterans. The Atlanta-based UPS announcing even more layoffs than originally planned.
The announcement was made as part of UPS's third quarter earnings release, which showed better than expected profits. It says another 14,000 jobs will be eliminated by year's end, mainly in management. That's on top of the 34,000 positions lost this year in its operations department. UPS says it's all part of a changing game plan for the company as it prioritizes competition and investments and as consumer habits change following the pandemic. The move also comes as it prepares for another busy holiday shipping season. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
While we're talking about jobs, Amazon expected to start laying off as many as 30,000 corporate workers starting today. Paramount announcing it's going to lay off about 1,000 workers effective tomorrow. Another 1,000 jobs expected to be cut in the near future. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us now with a look at your roads.
And got a little bit better news up in Sandy Springs, Sabrina. That jackknife tractor trailer now on the right shoulder. They're still holding the right lane, 285 westbound, the outer loop just past Georgia 400. Still slow back toward Peachtree Boulevard coming out of Doraville into Dunwoody. And you can take 85 south to I-75 north as an alternate. And better news heading into downtown in East Atlanta. Crash cleared I-20 westbound right at the downtown connector. Those delays that stretch back to Moreland Avenue have cleared up. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Your 5-day forecast is sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
Overcast, breezy, and cool in the 50s this afternoon. Overnight into Wednesday morning, dipping down into the upper 40s with a few showers moving in tonight. More widespread rain on Wednesday, high 55. And then mostly cloudy but drying out for Thursday, low 45, high 57. Now my 5-day forecast for Friday and Saturday. Mostly sunny Friday, cool, low 42, high 62. Will be mostly clear in the upper 50s for trick-or-treating Friday evening. And then Saturday, partly cloudy, low 42, high 63. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, 95.5 WSB.
53 degrees under cloudy skies here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America, and I am delighted to have you with me. Gloomy day here in Middle Georgia. I hope you got blue skies where you are. The phone number, 877-973-7425. I'm going to play you a lot of audio right now. I'm going to flood the zone with a number of pieces of audio because I have a point that needs to be made, particularly for those of you who are left of center. The point's got to be made. I'm trying to do an intervention because I love my neighbor. I hope you don't take the advice because it's actually solid advice. But you people need some help. I begin on MSNBC with Judge Michael Luttig in conversation.
Well, that question, whether Donald Trump will attempt to succeed himself in the presidency, is on the minds of virtually every American today, only 10 months in to his second term. There's a reason for that. The president's been in office approximately 10 months now. He began talking about a third term 2 months into that 10 months.
That's Judge Michael Luttig, who got broken by not being appointed to the Supreme Court. Looks like it was a wise decision not to put him there by George W. Bush. This is Caitlin Collins and Senator Blumenthal on CNN.
I'm seeking from those 37 corporations that are contributing $300 million, some of the major corporations in the United States, Meta, Amazon, Google, Lockheed Martin, information about how much each is actually contributing, who solicited them, what kind of agreements they anticipate or enter into in return, whether there's some kind of quid pro quo or pay to play. The American people deserve to know whether or not there has been some kind of shakedown in effect. And knowing the way that Donald Trump operates, there may have been some agreement, implicit or indirect.
That's Senator Blumenthal about tearing down the East Wing of the White House. Let's go back to Mr. Graham of The Atlantic.
When I talk to experts, including experts who are very worried, none of them thought there wouldn't be elections. And partly that's because even competitive authoritarians, the sort of modern day authoritarians, like elections. It gives them a sort of impression of legitimacy. But what you do is you tilt the playing field all along. So you start out by, for example, arresting people like James Comey to intimidate the opposition and make other people think they might not want to get involved in the political arena.
That's MSNBC. One more, Eddie Glaude from MSNBC.
Absolutely. What Jonathan Karl said last hour, he said that Donald Trump's revenge list is made up of folk who tried to cancel him. And by building this 90,000 square foot ballroom, you can't cancel that.
That's him. And last one, this is Alexis Coe, a historian on CNN.
We have a president And then that is supposed to be the leader. That is the democratically elected leader of what is now the longest running republic in the history of the world. And perhaps, the providence is that at 250, it's no longer. But the president should not, the Constitution is really clear. You are elected, you can serve a certain amount of time, and then no longer. And I think that there are, as Bannon threatened, I would say, we do have to take this quite seriously. We should view it as a threat. There are patterns that are established, and we should look at them.
That's the commentary on CNN and MSNBC. We are on the 28th day of a government shutdown, and the progressive producers of the TV news would rather talk about tearing down the East Wing of the White House or Donald Trump suggesting he might get a third term rather than talk about the government shutdown. That's how well this is going for the Democratic Party. The Democrats want credit for shutting down the government from the activist left-wing base. They want no blame for shutting it down from the public. As a result, they simply don't want to talk about it on television. They want to play the outrage mode. By the way, there was one person in the national news who understood what Donald Trump's been doing with his third term talk. Only one member of the mainstream media has made any honest sense about it. Over to you, Chuck Todd on CNN now.
You're preserving and protecting the Constitution. What does the Constitution say? Right? If he were serious about his oath of office, he would say, of course I'm not running because the Constitution says so. Now, how do I look at this? I don't take this threat rather seriously for a variety of reasons. One is his own age and health. Two is his own valuability and unpopularity. But the other part is really what he's doing is he's trying to prolong lame duckism as long as he possibly can. Donald Trump's whole life has been about relevancy. The second he says this is it, he becomes the beginning of becoming irrelevant. This is what he fears more than death itself. And so I think that's what this is about, because the minute he doesn't, then people don't feel like they have to worry about him. This is more about controlling his own party, because the minute he acquiesces, then the floodgates get open and you start to see a whole bunch of people more worried about a post-Trump world than the current Trump world.
Correct. Bingo. Ding, 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 ding. Donald Trump is going to become a lame duck. He is term limited by the Constitution of the United States. And it's not a coincidence that the Democrats, who poll less than a third of them have pride in their country, have any faith in the Constitution's ability to contain Donald Trump. They don't like America. They don't have pride in America. They don't like its institutions. They believe that the Constitution is illegitimate unless it gives them power. And so they can't fathom the idea that Donald Trump could be constrained by the Constitution, when actually what he's doing is he's just trying to put off the talk about 2028. Who's going to succeed him? On the plane, in the same conversation about being dismissive of 2028, he pivoted and said, well, I like the Vance-Rubio ticket. They'd be great. Pay no attention to that. Pay attention to the fact that he was somewhat non-committal about not running again. And again, all of this is to distract from a government shutdown. The Democrats are out of talking points. Here's what they could be doing. Carter's. Any of you have children? You probably got clothing from Carter's. Carter's is a clothing manufacturer that is laying off people. Do you know why they're laying off people? If you got my morning email, you know the answer. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Carter's said it would close 150 stores in North America and reduce its office workforce by about 15%, cutting roughly 300 positions as tariffs drag down its earnings. Carter's on Monday said it expects to incur a pre-tax earnings impact from additional tariffs imposed by the Trump administration of about $200 million to $250 million a year. The baby apparel company said it would close about 150 stores in North America after their leases expire over the next 3 years, up from its previous target of some 100 stores. The stores collectively represent about $100 million in annual sales over the last 12 months. For the third quarter, Carter reported net income of $11.6 million, or 32 cents a share, down from $58.3 million, or $1.62. $1.62 a share. The year prior, net sales fell 0.1%. The company is having problems because of tariffs, but let's also be clear here. It's more complicated than that. There are more issues as well, management issues, among other things, but tariffs are having a real impact on Carter's. Here's another headline from the Wall Street Journal today. United Parcel Service, UPS, says it has reduced its management workforce by about 14,000 positions so far this year, and its operational workforce by 34,000 positions. The company disclosed the workforce reductions for 2025, which were a combination of layoffs and buyouts. We keep finding opportunities to bring costs down. We are positioned to run the most effective peak in our history. The chief executive, Carol Tomé, has been under pressure to reverse a long slump in the company's stock price. The pressure stems particularly from employees and retirees who have an outsized say under the company's unique shareholder structure. But wait, there's more. Amazon.com announced job cuts of 14,000 workers Tuesday, a first move in layoffs that are expected to affect as many as 30,000 corporate jobs, according to people familiar with the matter. The reductions are the latest cost-cutting move for the tech giant, which is seeking to slim down and conserve cash, people said. The planned cuts, which won't all happen this week, are expected to amount to roughly 10% of the online giant's corporate workforce. The thousands of corporate pink slips are going out Tuesday. They cut across the organization, hitting human resources, cloud computing, advertising, and a number of other business units. The total number of reductions hasn't been finalized. CNBC has a report out that a growing number of small businesses have frozen wage increases and frozen hiring because of the tariff burden on the small businesses. Mid-sized businesses as well are doing the same thing. By the way, on Friday, inflation was up 3%. Higher than the Fed's goal of 2%, a little lower than expected. It was expected at 3.1%. It's at 3%. That's still high. And by the way, thanks to tariffs, cutting off businesses wanting to pay raises, wages have now slipped beneath inflation again. So now inflation is rising more than wages, meaning the wage gap to prices is starting to grow again, which had not been the case. And what are the Democrats talking about? The East Wing being torn down. Donald Trump and a 2028 bid for the presidency. They could be talking about all the economic news out there and tying that to the shutdown and say they've shut down the government until Donald Trump reverses the tariffs. But no. God forbid they talk about things that people actually care about and is relevant to people. The Republicans, you are blessed with the biggest idiots on planet Earth running against you. All of this bad economic news is starting to come out, and the Democrats don't care about any of it. They care about Donald Trump's third term, which isn't going to happen, and the East Wing of the White House, where everyone concedes they actually do need a big ballroom. The messaging from the Democrats is insane. And don't at me for giving them advice and trying to help them, because you know darn well they're not going to take it. They can't help themselves. The Democrats genuinely cannot help themselves. All they want is no blame for the shutdown that they themselves started. They don't want to talk about it. They could talk about the tariffs and they could talk about inflation, and the response would be, well, what are you going to do about that, people who brought us Joe Biden? And they have no answer for it. They have no platform for it. They have no way to contain the costs. After 4 years of Joe Biden, nobody would take them seriously. So their pivot is to talk about events that will not happen and things they cannot control. It's wild to watch the messaging of the Democratic Party right now. And they're shifting even this messaging. They're headed towards filibuster. We'll get there. Look, I got on TV right now, and Democrats are freaking out, calling Donald Trump authoritarian. Really? He's authoritarian. Not about the shutdown. And now I see on CNN, major shakeup planned at ICE as the administration demands more arrests. CNBC is the only one talking about job cuts at Amazon and UPS and Carter's and the tariff impact. Fox and CNN and MSNBC, they're all outraged all the time. We have a government shutdown now on the 28th day. In several days, SNAP benefits run out, Head Start benefits run out, other benefits run out. Civil employees of the government will get no paychecks. Military employees of the government will get no paychecks. TSA is starting to slow down. Air traffic controllers are starting to stop showing up for work. Unions are telling the government to reopen, and the Democrats would rather talk about the East Wing of the White House than any of that stuff because they have no real solutions. They have no real ideas. They just hate Donald Trump, and that is why he's continuing to beat the Democrats. And again, spare me the email saying I should stop giving advice to Democrats because you know and I know I can do this because the Democrats will never listen to us. They're not just intellectually bankrupt. They're also too prideful and arrogant to listen to sound advice at this point.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching this crash on the north side perimeter in Sandy Springs, 285 westbound, the outer loop past Georgia 400. They got the Jackknife Big Rig off to the right, but they're still holding the right lane. Stick with 285 westbound as an alternate because everybody's been heading 85 south to get on 75 north, and that's causing 85 south delays just south of North Druid Hills. Elsewhere on the south side, 75 southbound, seeing a few brake lights through Stockbridge, Highway 138 down toward Hudson Bridge Road, and the earlier crash still on the right shoulder into downtown, 20 westbound at the connector, exit 57. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app,
all the notifications you
If
need.
you have the WSB app,
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your Virtual Imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
The last thing on your mind is maintaining your septic system. It's all good until it's not. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. Don't wait for a septic emergency. Our affordable, routine maintenance will keep your system running smoothly.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic. Never a pump out charge with your repair. Get a free quote at scorpionsepticservices.com.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. Starting a business takes grit and fortitude, but to keep it going requires taking care of customers like family. That's our motto, and my family's been sticking to it for decades. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and you can count on Jape Services to provide quality care and price transparency for your home's heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. At Jape Services, we're a family-run business, and I personally guarantee to treat you like family as well. JapeServices.com. Jape Services.
Remodeling your home's exterior requires expertise, experience, and attention to detail.
That's what I built my business on. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors. I'm the siding and windows expert you hear on the Home Fix-It Show with decades of experience for all things exterior. Windows, siding, painting, roofing, decks, doors, and gutters, all with unmatched quality and craftsmanship. Even the small details are a big deal to us. Get your free estimate, Google Nelson Exteriors.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where we've got everything you need for the perfect holiday proposal. The holidays are all about warmth, love, connection, the smiling faces of family and friends. Picture it. In that perfect moment, you get down on one knee with the stunning D. Geller & Son engagement ring she's always dreamed of. To get the perfect ring for that perfect moment, now's the time to plan. D. Geller & Son has been where Atlanta gets engaged since 1939. So let's make this holiday season unforgettable. In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and shop ahead at dgeller.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson here. The Democrats have decided to file a lawsuit in federal court to continue funding SNAP benefits November 1st. This is how desperate they've gotten. They could reopen the government, but they have chosen instead to go to court and find a progressive judge to seize the power of the purse to fund SNAP benefits that the president otherwise wasn't going to do. And their basis is because the president rearranged some funding to pay members of the military that he should be compelled to do the same thing for the SNAP benefits. It's an entirely political argument. It should be laughed out of court by a judge, but never underestimate a Biden-appointed judge to treat it as legitimate. It's going to get tossed on appeal. I can tell you right now it's going to get tossed on appeal, because you can't compel the president to find money and divert it to a program that has been unfunded when the people suing are the ones who've chosen not to fund the program. The people causing the problem don't get to sue. In addition to a standing issue, there's a clean hands issue headed into court on this. So I'm sorry that they can do this all they want, but this is nonsensical. For them to even attempt this lawsuit. It's a publicity stunt, essentially, to distract from them being the ones who shut the government down. Americans for Prosperity is reminding people it was the Democrats who shut down the government. They are putting a spotlight on the failures of the Democratic Party and their willingness to keep the government shut down. They have fought for common sense conservative reforms around the country. They'd love to have you get involved as an activist or just keep you informed of public policy updates around the country. All you have to do is go to afpvolunteer.com. afpvolunteer.com. That's where you sign up with Americans for Prosperity. They've got chapters in every state. They're the largest leading grassroots group in the country. They happen to be on the right. They advance freedom for families and small businesses. They support the president's tax cut plan, school choice, permitting reform, deregulation. They're a fantastic group. Go to afpvolunteer.com today. afpvolunteer.com. Sign up with Americans for Prosperity. Get involved in the process. And you know what? You can help take back the country. When we come back, the final pivot for the Democrats. They've gone from the East Wing to Trump 2028, and now they're pivoting to the filibuster. They want the Republicans to change the rules of the Senate unilaterally to give the Democrats what they want, which is a government reopened without Democratic fingerprints on it. And the Republicans are not biting. They're not going to bite. I've got data on it. I'll take your phone calls as well, 877-973-7425.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Our top story. The sound now from Jamaica. They're experiencing catastrophic winds and flash flooding as Hurricane Melissa slams into the island. This is a Category 5 storm with sustained wind speeds of 185 miles an hour, gusting up to 215. Officials expecting a storm surge that could reach 13 feet and 30 inches or more of rain in some parts. Michael Brennan, the director of the National Hurricane Center.
It's going to be a very dangerous scenario now starting to play out in the next few hours as the eye of Melissa moves across Jamaica today.
7 deaths already blamed on this hurricane. Your weather here in Metro Atlanta, cloudy and breezy with a high of 57 today, but rain is in the forecast come tomorrow, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. Happening now, a manhunt underway in Atlanta for a suspected murderer. Police looking for 26-year-old Farron Banks. He's wanted for the death of his stepfather, 58-year-old Michael Jackson, who was found shot at an apartment complex off Cobb Parkway. Banks' car was found here in southwest Atlanta, but no sign of him. Anybody with information being asked to call 911. You're urged not to approach him if you see him. And we do have his picture for you. You can take a look, WSBradio.com. 2 parents facing multiple child cruelty charges after their 5-month-old daughter was found with severe injuries. William King, Amber Rivera, behind bars this afternoon after their daughter was found with 30 broken bones in Lithia Springs. Prosecutors say that infant, who was born prematurely, suffered fractures to her arms, ribs, legs, and wrists. The couple facing at least 18 charges, including child cruelty, aggravated battery, and obstruction. And we have an update on claims that Tylenol taken by pregnant women can cause autism in their unborn children. Jim Ryan reporting today that the state of Texas is now taking legal action.
Johnson & Johnson is named as a co-defendant in a lawsuit filed by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Also named is Kenvue, the company that has sold Tylenol since it was spun off from J&J 2 years ago. In a 49-page filing, Paxton is demanding that the two companies destroy any marketing materials that claim that Tylenol is safe for pregnant women.
And now your money. Consumer confidence edging lower in October. The conference board reporting a 1% drop from its upwardly revised reading in September. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P all in positive territory.
For your home to truly be healthy, it needs to be bug and critter free. Who knows what germs they bring in? Yuck! Hey, it's Christina Edwards. I trust Breda Pest Management to protect my home inside and out because a pest-free home is a healthy home. Don't settle for the 5-minute outside-only spray and pray approach to pest control. It's the gross, germy bugs inside you want gone.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler's workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come check us out at your nearby store. Our engagement rings are made with love from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The 3 most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all 3. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Much better news in Sandy Springs. Crash totally cleared. All lanes open. 285 westbound. The outer loop past Georgia 400. So the delays we're back into Dunwoody are improving. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Overcast, breezy, cool today, high 57. Rain comes in for tomorrow.
And right now on Peachtree Street, we have cloudy skies and 54 degrees. More news at 1 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you nationwide. I want to go to the phones, and let's take Corey's phone call. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Hey, Eric.
Welcome.
All right. Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, good deal. Well, first off, just prayers for your wife and
Thank you.
Battle with cancer, and it's always a reminder that the seed in Christ is bigger than the seed in cancer. I don't know if you've talked about this before, but I'm thinking that why hasn't Trump considered the fair tax deal? I know it's legislation that's been kind of like revamped over the years and presented, I guess, again in the 2025 form. I kind of understand why he's doing tariffs, kind of, even out the playing field globally amongst trade, but if you ever had to walk that back in any shape, form, or fashion, I mean, the fair tax is something I think would probably give the United States government as much funds as it probably would ever ask.
So the problem is, and good question, Corey, the president can do the tariffs he thinks unilaterally. The Supreme Court may say otherwise. That case, by the way, is going to get argued in another week or so before the Supreme Court. But the president can do tariffs unilaterally. To do the fair tax, not only do you have to get 60 votes in the Senate plus a majority of the House of Representatives, which I don't know that you could do, without first repealing the income tax amendment. And you got to get 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, and 3/4 of the states to agree to repeal the income tax amendment. So I honestly think at this point the fair tax is dead. It's not going anywhere. Don't light up the phones and yell at my call screener. I know got a lot of Neil Bortz listeners, big fans of the fair tax. I always preferred the flat tax to the fair tax. But to get the fair tax passed, just legitimately, you got to get it through the House. You got to overcome the filibuster in the Senate, which is 60 votes. And then remember, the original versions of the fair tax was always implementation was dependent on getting rid of the income tax, because otherwise you're going to have essentially what amounts to a national sales tax and an income tax combined, which nobody wanted. And you're not going to get 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, 3/4 of the states to agree to get rid of the income tax. So I don't think there's no viable legislative path for the fair tax. There never really has been. It was a great idea whose time never came, and the president right now believes he can unilaterally do tariffs. I suspect the Supreme Court may rein him in. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today who would kind of know, and he says he would be really surprised if the Supreme Court upheld the tariffs the way the president's implemented them. So look, the other problem here is there's so much misinformation. Like, I got yelled at the other day. Somebody clapped at me, I guess, as the kids these days say it, and said, "Don't you know Canada charges us some massive tariff on milk?" It's like, yes and no. And it's easy for you to say yes because you can point to it, but you can't point to the exceptions where, we set import-export rules with Canada, and we set the tariff so high that we don't actually run afoul of the tariff. So the tariff isn't never implemented, actually. There's been one time in the last 15 years that the dairy tariff came into effect. The people who claim to support tariffs take this kind of know-it-all attitude that actually they're wrong about a lot of stuff. Like, for example, a lot of the European tariffs, they're actually exemptions, or the South Korean tariffs are a great idea. People say, well, the United States has to pay this massive tariff in South Korea, so we're going to do, except we're actually exempted from those tariffs. It's on the books, but they're exempted as well. So we're not actually paying the tariff, but the supporters of tariffs point to it and say, see, this tariff, we're paying. No, actually, idiot, you're not paying the tariff. I know they're telling you you're paying the tariff, but you're not actually paying the tariff. We hadn't paid the tariff in 20 years. But God forbid you actually tell people the truth. They just want to hear it from their favorite politicians who lied to them, and they believe the lie. And now look what's happening. We've got layoffs at a number of companies now because the tariffs are causing them to restrain spending. But I digress. Tariffs are terrible economic policy, always have been. Even Ronald Reagan hated tariffs. Even when he implemented the tariffs, he did that one time on Japan and said he hated to do it because he didn't like tariffs. But there was that one time he felt he needed to do it. Now they're trying to revise the Ronald Reagan legacy to make him some sort of pro-tariff guy, when no, actually, he was the most free trade president we've ever had. Sorry, on my soapbox, I'll move on. We have to talk about real idiots now. The Democratic Party. These people are just stupid. Listen, I shouldn't say that blanketly in name call, but we've really legitimately moved from the Democrats want health care for illegal aliens, which is true, they do, to the Democrats want health care for everybody, to now the Democrats just want the Republicans to get rid of the filibuster. This has become the talking point. And it's one of the dumbest talking points that I have ever really encountered, because they keep shifting it around. And now they've decided that they want the Republicans to end the filibuster to help the Democrats out of their own problem. Last night on the Senate floor, Chuck Schumer said, quote, "Tonight, Senate Democrats will come to the floor and warn our Republican colleagues and the nation of the devastation Republicans are causing, and by doing nothing on health care, we will highlight the impact of surging premiums on families. We will share the stories we're hearing right now from people scared of premium hikes." That's what Chuck Schumer says, and I'm sorry, he said it last night, and they're going to do it tonight. They're going to come to the floor of the Senate tonight, and they're going to tell all these horror stories. Oh, the horror of all the people losing benefits, because the Democrats are the ones who shut down the government. And now they're saying, well, if the Republicans would get rid of the filibuster, they could reopen it. Let's get this straight. Democrats created the health care premium subsidy cliff that we're going off of. They voted to get rid of the health care subsidy themselves. Wasn't the Republicans. The Democrats gave the subsidy and voted to expire it. And now they're blaming the Republicans for letting it expire as the Democrats wanted. Now they're claiming they need emergency health care subsidies to fix the subsidies they voted to get rid of. And then they're suddenly claiming, oh, well, Republicans, just get rid of the filibuster. Please get rid of the filibuster. It's the messaging here for the Democrats is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. Now, the problem for the Democrats is very straightforward. The clean resolution from the House of Representatives is the only thing that can pass. Let me just analytically break this down for you. So, House Democrats have convinced themselves that if they fund the government, they're funding Hitler. So the House Democrats will not vote for any funding for anything because they're funding Hitler. That's their thinking. The conservatives in the House of Representatives will not add any funding to the continuing resolution because they're already hacked off that the continuing resolution is actually based on Joe Biden's budget, not Donald Trump's budget. The funding that is being advanced right now is being based on the Joe Biden budget. The last budget the Democrats approved when Biden was president and the Democrats were in charge, they got a budget approved, and that's what this continuing resolution funds. And the Republican conservatives are already mad at that, so they don't want to add any funding to it. I mean, literally, the continuing resolution is the continuing resolution the Democrats themselves drafted when Joe Biden was president. The Republicans just advanced the same language. They didn't redo the work, and the Democrats voted for it repeatedly. Now they're like, no, we got to have all this other stuff. But you can't get that stuff out of the House conservatives. The House Democrats won't fund anything else because they think they're funding Hitler. So the only way that you can actually get this done is a clean continuing resolution in the Senate. Ro Khanna, who's a very progressive member of the House, but goes on Fox News, was on with Maria Bartiromo. Just listen to this exchange.
But Congressman, isn't it true that you have already voted for a clean CR under the Biden administration? This is the same CR?
It is in terms of a clean CR, but that was conditional at this point on the tax credits being extended. We can't have a situation where we have tax breaks for the billionaires. By the way, they can pass this. I made this point many times with 51 Senate votes and the House and have an exception to the filibuster like they've made to pass Trump's judges and appointees. So, look, I call balls and strikes. I've given the president credit where it's due. This is a case, though, where we need to extend the health care tax credit.
So you got that. Yeah, I voted for it repeatedly. And by the way, he voted to also get rid of the health care subsidies. And now he's like, the Republicans, they can just get rid of the filibuster. They can get rid of the filibuster. The Democrats want the Republicans to get rid of the filibuster because the Democrats know they don't have the votes to get it done. That's a big key here that you on the right are missing. The Democrats have pivoted from health care to SNAP benefits to just get rid of the filibuster, because the Democrats know they don't have the votes themselves to get rid of the filibuster. So for all the people saying, well, the Republicans might as well get rid of the filibuster, the Democrats are going to do it when they get back in power. The Democrats tried last time, and they didn't have the votes. In fact, you had, what's her name from Arizona, and Joe Manchin from Kristen Sinema, and Joe Manchin from West Virginia. They voted with the Republicans to preserve the filibuster, and you people on the right are saying, well, they're gone now. Clear? No. It was well known that there were other Democrats up for re-election in 2024 who didn't want to take the hit from the left, and so they hid behind Sinema and Manchin and let them do the dirty work. But otherwise, they would have voted to preserve the filibuster. The Democrats don't have the votes to get rid of the filibuster. That's why their pivot now is to the Republicans. Please, for the love of God, you people get rid of the filibuster. The Republicans aren't going to get rid of the filibuster. By the way, this reminds me, I got to correct myself from yesterday. I said Harry Reid was from Utah. He's from Nevada. I knew that. I said Searchlight, but brain fart. Anyway, correct myself here on the show. Never say I don't correct myself. I do. The Democratic talking points have been all over the place. It's the problem with shutting down the government and not wanting to take blame for it. Say what you will about the Republican shutdowns, but the Republican shutdowns always had a core connected message. It was, you got to repeal or fix Obamacare. It was, the debt's too high, we got to do sequestration. It was, you got to build and fund the border wall. With the Democrats, it's, we got to stop Donald Trump tearing down the East Wing. Oh, wait, it's 2028. Oh, wait, it's healthcare. Oh, wait, it's SNAP. Oh, wait, it's the filibuster. They haven't been consistent. And again, just step back from this. As someone who very successfully ran political campaigns, who actually knows a thing or two about politics, running for office, campaigning, and messaging, I'm honestly flabbergasted that the Democratic messaging on this has been so all over the place. And I know what it actually is they don't want blame. They're hoping they can use the media to give Republicans blame. You know, they're mad at Margaret Brennan. I played you the clip yesterday, Margaret Brennan asking Hakeem Jeffries very difficult questions, and the Democrats were like, how dare Margaret Brennan ask these difficult questions? They're upset because she's on their side typically. She never asked the Democrats tough questions because she's so biased for them. And when Margaret Brennan is asking Hakeem Jeffries tough questions and putting the blame on the Democrats for shutting down, you know the messaging is changing. The unions are starting to say, just reopen the government, guys. Come on, you're not going to get anything from the GOP. And the Democrats are refusing to reopen things. They're trying to turn this into some sort of messaging battle, but they can't stay on the same message. Now they're off to just get rid of the filibuster. This isn't working for the Democrats. But here's the thing. What is the off-ramp for them? What is the off-ramp? They're going to reopen the government. They're going to do it without any deal from the Republicans. and they're going to get eaten alive by their base. The question is it before SNAP benefits run out or after? Is it before Head Start benefits run out or after? And here's the thing. If they keep it shut down for another week or two, after all the benefits do run out and the paychecks stop rolling in, and then they vote for what the Republicans wanted, it's going to be even worse for the Democrats with the rest of the electorate. I don't know that they've done the math on this for the election for next year. If they keep it shut down after all these benefits go away, and then they vote to reopen and they vote for the clean resolution, it's even more obvious to everyone it was them, not the GOP, and the blame gets even worse for them headed into the election. It's mind-numbingly bad politics for the Democrats, but they're so scared of the progressive base, they can't do otherwise.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1250 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still a few scattered brake lights on 285 west, the outer loop between Sandy Springs and I-75 in Cobb County. That's leaving 400 over toward Truist Park. 285 southbound, the outer loop on the west side. The right lanes are bunched up from Hollowell Parkway down to I-20. And construction in Gwinnett County, Holcomb Bridge Road at Spalding Drive. Right lane blocked on Holcomb Bridge Road eastbound. Traffic brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. International Hot Rod Association and Durana Hybrid, reigniting racing and skilled trades, mentorship, education, and legacy. Get your tickets now at ihra.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look at beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering the finest selection of unique European jewelry designs. Lee Brandt has natural and lab-grown diamonds with a large selection of engagement ring settings. Lee Brandt has serviced Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their trained watchmaker will service your Rolex in store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs, or visit LeeBrandt.com.
If you're seeing cracks in the walls upstairs, downstairs, or outside, maybe even a door not closing, call the Foundation Repair Specialist. Hi, it's Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack, and we are your leading foundation repair experts. Set up your free estimate right now at AtlantaRamjack.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Well, Chris, as you know, time just keeps on ticking. We're putting another year under our belt, so it seems like a really good time to take stock of our financial lives and put together that plan that's built to last.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team. And we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Fall is a busy time, and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
How many of you stayed up? How many of you stayed up until, Eastern time, 2:30 in the morning to watch World Series Game 3? I did not. I did watch it. I watched some of the football game, and I watched some of the baseball game, and then I went to bed. When I got up, I was kind of surprised the game wasn't still going. They nearly ran out of baseballs in Game 3 of the World Series. It went on until 2:30 in the morning, 18 innings. 18 innings. That's just, wow. And we can't have Canada win this thing. Thankfully, Ohtani hadn't started pitching yet. He and Freddie Freeman, though, incredible. Look, I got a soft spot for the Dodgers because back in the day, Tommy Lasorda was there, and he was awesome. But the Braves and the Cubs didn't make it. I got to stick with the American team. That would be the Dodgers, obviously. We can't let Canada win this thing until they become the 51st state. So we're all rooting for the Dodgers. We're all even you people who hate the Dodgers, you are Americans. You got to root for the American team against the Canadians. You're supposed to, because otherwise you got to say unironically. So root for the Dodgers. Now, we have more to talk about when we come back. Believe it or not, there actually is a call now for the Democratic Party to re-embrace patriotism, as the Gallup poll has come out and shown that less than a third of Democrats have pride in being an American. So couple that with yesterday and the growing atheism of the Democratic Party, and you see a party that has real problems, but Republicans don't get cocky here. They could still win the midterms simply by not being Republicans. We got to sort all of this stuff out before we even get to the rise of Mamdani in New York City. That is about to happen. But first, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them, save $200, get them for less than $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. They're an air purifier. So they get rid of dust, they get rid of pollen, they get rid of pet dander. It gets rid of 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. And now it wipes out odors. It generates ozone, gets into the air, touches the odor particles, and wipes them out. Eliminates all of them, which is why you want it. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3. It's small. You can plug it in with a USB cord. You can plug it into the wall. You can do so much with it to wipe out odors. I carry one in my travel bag because it's small. I used it in a rental car. I've used it in hotel rooms, used it on my back porch, used it in the kitchen, used it here in my office. It just works, wiping out odors. All odors get wiped out. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. Get 3 of them, save $200, get them for less than $200. EdenPureDeals.com, discount code ERIC3.
WSB is looking for a home for Carlisle. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News. She is our new dog of the month with Paws Atlanta. Medium size, they tell us, and has lived with cats just fine. Meet Carlisle at WSBRadio.com. Our sponsor, Findlay Roofing, will pay the adoption fee for you, too. Again, WSBRadio.com/dog.
paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to Medi-Share, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they're paying for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up and the cost of healthcare, Medi-Share has a special offer, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Just apply by October 31st, and they'll waive your new member fee. You're saving $100 right off the bat. That's just the start. Obviously, the typical family saves up to $500 a month after making the switch. And Medi-Share is a Christian community that shared more than $9 billion in medical bills over the years. It's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second. If you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings too. Here it is. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Nelson Exteriors. Hurricane Melissa now stronger than Katrina. This is one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes in history. About to make landfall in Jamaica. Meteorologist Andrew Kozak says this thing just keeps growing in strength.
We're talking 185 mile per hour winds, gusts to 215. And believe it or not, it's picked up speed. The movement north-northeast at 7 miles per hour, but that is still very, very slow.
And 7 deaths have already been blamed on the storm. Our weather here for today, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz, cloudy, breezy, and a high of 57. He'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Well, he's accused of shooting his stepfather multiple times, and he's on the run this afternoon. Police searching now for 26-year-old Farron Banks. Police say he shot and killed his stepdad, 58-year-old Michael Jackson, at an apartment complex in Cobb County. His car was found here in southwest Atlanta. He's considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach him. Call 911. We have a picture on our website. Take a look. On their first day without a paycheck, some air traffic controllers at the world's busiest airport say they're frustrated.
Air traffic controllers at Hartsfield-Jackson are joining their colleagues at 20 other U.S. airports, passing out leaflets to passengers outside the south terminal entrance.
We just want to go to work and we want to be paid.
Nicole Sarunas has been an air traffic controller in Atlanta for 16 years and says they're still feeling the impacts of the last long shutdown in 2019.
We still haven't made up as a whole, like controller-wise, because it takes years to train air traffic controllers.
Sarunas says this isn't about politics, it's about safety. At Hartsfield-Jackson, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Sandy Springs-based UPS announcing it's going to eliminate 34,000 jobs this year. These job cuts are a part of a larger ongoing company turnaround plan and were reported along with strong third quarter earnings that did beat what analysts had been expecting. It's soon going to cost you a little bit more if you visit a state park here in Georgia.
Outdoor lovers will soon see parking fees go up at parks statewide, with rates doubling in most cases. Damon Kilpatrick, CEO of Friends of Georgia State Parks, says it's an unfortunate necessity, but still a great value.
$10 still buys a full day of hiking, biking, and making memories with family. It also works hard to maintain those trails and facilities.
Day passes have been $5 since 2009. Annual passes go up from $50 to $70, and all passes are offered at a discount for seniors, active military, and disabled veterans. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
All right, let's check your money as we take a look at Wall Street. The Dow currently up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ's up more than 0.5%. And the S&P is also in positive territory. It's 102.
The biggest factor, I think, in choosing a company is their integrity. Are they going to warranty their work and stand behind their work?
Meteorologist Glenn Burns loves his Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows.
The product, of course, has to be good, but the folks standing behind that product have to be even better. This is the company that has the best products, the best service, the best installation.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
When your air conditioner or furnace breaks down, the last thing you need is more surprises. That's why at Jape Services, you'll always get a free estimate with honest, upfront pricing. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and we've helped thousands of your friends and neighbors with their heating and cooling needs, and our reputation depends on offering the best solution. Whether you need maintenance, repairs, or a new system, call the company you can trust, Jape Services.
You can count on us, Jape Services.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month. And ask about a $400 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America. Fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. Two similar homes for sale, same neighborhood, but the one with the Orchard sign sold for more. Why? Well, Orchard's local agents know what buyers want, make smart upgrades, and handle it all. Get your free home valuation at orchard.com.
We're at live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Hey, Sabrina, found a crash downtown, 7585 northbound, just north of I-20, exit 247. Second left lane is blocked. You're slowing back to University Avenue. Looking at delays on 85 northbound into Norcross near Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. I think some trouble may have just cleared there. And you still got that construction in Gwinnett County, Holcomb Bridge Road at Spalding Drive. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Will stay cloudy, breezy, and cool today. Highs in the mid-50s. A few showers coming in tonight. Better rain chances on Wednesday. Up to an inch of rain. North Metro, less than a half. South Metro, low 49, high 55 on Wednesday. Then mostly cloudy but drying out Thursday, high 57.
It is 54 degrees under cloudy skies in Kennesaw. Roswell, you have clouds in 54. And in Loganville, it's cloudy and 53 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, we're looking at this massive storm making landfall down in Jamaica. It's a really big Cat 5 storm, one of the biggest apparently to ever hit down in Jamaica. So I'm actually, in fact, I'm pulling up my radar right now because I'm just curious. I want to see, because you can get it from the Key West radar, I bet, and get a good look at. It's outside the. I'm intrigued by just the strength of the storm. We haven't gotten any hurricanes this year in the southeast, which I'm kind of surprised by. In any event, I gotta move on to this from Josh Barrow, because this caught my eye. Yesterday on the program, I was talking about how there's new data out that the Democratic Party has a religion problem, that it is increasingly a party of wealthier white atheist progressives with poorer non-white religious voters. And those religious voters are moving to the right as the upper income white atheists alienate everybody from them. And it makes it very, very difficult for the Democrats to message. How do you message abortion when the religious members of your party actually believe life is sacred and the rich white liberals don't? How do you message on transgenderism? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went after Riley Gaines yesterday that maybe she needed to get a real job or something. She's a full-time mom who was disqualified or lost a swim meet, one of her last swim meets, because a guy decided to swim. And AOC, who has no children of her own, can't understand why it's such a big deal to so many young women who they're in sports. And suddenly a guy comes along, changes his name to a female name, claims to be a female, and beats them all. the Democrats are out of touch. And now there is this from Gallup. 36% of Democrats say they are proud of their country. 36% of Democrats in 2025 say they're proud to be Americans. Even when Joe Biden was president of the United States, the Republican Party was above 85%. In fact, the Republican Party during George W. Bush, during Barack Obama, it never fell below 90%. It's right now at 92% for the GOP. Independent voters have trickled down to 53%. Now, some of those independent voters are Democratic voters who don't like the Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party itself has, when Trump got elected the first time, it cratered. By 2020 was down to 40%, but now with Donald Trump in place for a second term, the Democrats who say they are extremely or very proud of the United States is at 36%. Noah Smith, who is a liberal writer, he tweeted, everybody talks about how Democrats need to moderate on issues, but what I don't see people talking about is Democrats need to embrace the United States as a nation. Now, contrast that with this. Josh Barrow put this up. He writes, this is the 2012 Democratic Party platform opening. This is the preamble, in other words, to the Democratic Party platform for Barack Obama's second term. And I quote, today our economy is growing again. Al-Qaeda is weaker than at any point since 9/11, and our manufacturing sector is growing for the first time in more than a decade. But there's more we need to do, and so we come together again to continue what we started. We gather to reclaim the basic bargain that built the largest middle class and the most prosperous nation on earth, the simple principle that in America, hard work should pay off, responsibility should be rewarded, and each one of us should be able to go as far as our talent and drive take us. That was the opening of the Democratic Party platform for the Democratic National Convention in 2012. Here is the opening of the 2024 Democratic Party platform. This is the preamble for this past year's election. The Democratic National Committee wishes to acknowledge that we gather together to state our values on lands that have been stewarded through many centuries by the ancestors and descendants of tribal nations who have been here since time immemorial. We honor the communities native to this continent and recognize that our country was built on indigenous homelands. We pay our respects to the millions of indigenous people throughout history who have protected our lands, waters, and animals. Apparently, the Cherokee, the Seminoles, and the Apache were the elves of Middle Earth. And they have evolved their elvish kind over time because they've been here as immortal beings since time immemorial. They didn't walk across a land bridge. They've just been here forever. Pay no attention to the fact that they killed and slaughtered the people who came before them. And, you know, that's the irony here, is that knowing what we know now about American Indian tribes is that there could have been people here who existed before them, and they came in and slaughtered all of them. We have no idea, except we know, like in South Dakota, arguing over Mount Rushmore. The Indian tribe that claims Mount Rushmore as their land claims it as their land because they murdered all of the other Indian tribes whose land it actually was. This is the Democratic Party. In 2012, it's all about economic growth, and in 2024, it's we're sorry that we exist on your land, but we're not giving it back. This is not a party that seems to wish to win, and this is a party, as Frank Luntz noted to this Josh Barrow reply, that this is a political party that called the Republicans weird in 2024. Weird. Who are the weird ones? It was like, so, Charles III, the king of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and Canada, went to Canada and actually was forced by the prime minister to give a land acknowledgement speech about how sorry he was that they conquered their land. And this land was the Owipajubidoo tribe and the Butibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutibutib and the land on which we sit was conquered by us Brits, now Canadians. I felt embarrassed for the man, as opposed to saying, yeah, we took this land, it's ours now, shut up. The whole land acknowledgement thing is just, it's white guilt. By the way, there are very few actual, real American Indians who care. They got it a lot better now thanks to the United States than they had it back then. No more scalpings, among other things. And yet the Democrats are obsessed with this stuff. This is a party devoid of ideas. This is a party that is built on guilt. And this is a party where only a third of its identified members are proud to be Americans. Now, it could be that they, like I, am tired of Lee Greenwood's song. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just really exhausted by I'm proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free. It's like every Republican feels like they got to have that song on repeat. Whenever anything happens, push the button. I'm proud to be an American. I'm tired of the song. Sing the Star Spangled Banner, for God's sake. The Battle Hymn of the Republic. God bless America, America the beautiful. Something just, I'm proud to be an American, is overdone at this point. And the Democrats, they can't play that song because they're not proud to be Americans. Why? The very basic bottom line is Democrats are not proud to be Americans because, one, they are not in power, and two, when they are in power, they have embraced a doctrine of white guilt and guilt for good things. You know, I got to tell you, I am one of those catastrophic thinkers sometimes. I fully admit it. Where if something good happens, I think, oh, great, now something bad's going to happen. The bottom's going to fall out. It can only get worse. I catastrophize, and I know it's not healthy, and I'm mindful of the fact that I do it. I'm always afraid of, well, God's not going to give me this thing that I want because I've done this one thing. That's not how it works, and he's not a genie or a sugar daddy. But the Democrats have really catastrophized their thinking. It's unhealthy as a party. I do it individually. I recognize it and can work on it. How do you get a party out of this catastrophic thinking that the country is bad, the country is racist, the country needs to be fixed? The country, unless made in their image, is irredeemable. The country was founded on systemic racism. All of the mythologies the Democrats have told themselves. And this is part of the problem. You do at some point have to have an inner monologue. Now, I realize there are people who have no inner monologue. The inner monologue is, and I didn't know people did this until a few years ago. It was not that long ago that I understood that these people exist. You know the people who talk to themselves that don't have schizophrenia out loud? They talk to themselves? They don't have an inner monologue. The inner monologue is, be quiet right now. Don't say a word. Listen. You had a thought in your head, didn't you? You could hear yourself in your head. There were words there, weren't there? That's the inner monologue. There are some people who apparently can't do that. They simply can't. Everything has to be verbalized. But in your inner monologue, in your conversation with yourself out loud or in private, you have a conversation. My day's going to be good because of X, Y, or Z. My day's going to be bad because of A, B, or C. I want this to change. I want this to improve. I want this. I need to do this. I need to do that. I can't forget this. You have those conversations. Oh, this day is going well. I'm really thankful for that. God, thank you for this. Thank you for that blessing, God. Thank you. Please, God, give me this. You have that conversation. The Democratic conversation is, this country sucks. This country's not good. How did a majority of Americans elect that jerk? These people are awful. I don't like sharing this country with those people. We need to be in charge. He's an authoritarian. You hear the inner monologue of the Democrats on a daily basis on MSNBC, and it is really negative. It is really hateful. It is hateful about their fellow Americans. It is hateful about the situation in the country. It is hateful about the founding of the country. These people have an inner monologue that is actually deeply destructive. It's catastrophic thinking at all times. And it's very hard for those people to win. Now, there's a caveat here for the GOP. The Democrats could win next year. In fact, they just might win next year because it's an off-year election. And in off-year elections, the party out of the White House tends to do well. There are exceptions to the rule, 2002, 2022. There are exceptions to the rule, but Democrats did lose seats in 2022. The Republicans did take over, but barely. The Republicans are on defense. They could lose. And the problem for the Democrats is that if they win, they will think there's nothing wrong. If the Democrats win, they're going to not recognize they have underlying fundamental problems and could set themselves up for disaster in 2028, which I'm fine with, by the way. I'm totally fine with it. But it is actually wild to see one of the two major political parties in this country where only a third of them actually have pride in the country they're trying to win elections in. You have no optimistic narrative to sell to voters. And at the end of the day, voters want something optimistic. Donald Trump sold to voters that if they elected him, he was going to make America great again. And the Democratic message was status quo, inflation's not our fault. They don't have a positive vision for the country, which is just another reason the voters are abandoning them. And by the way, I got to say, it is reflected in a party that is being taken over by a bunch of neurotic white women and gay men who can't relate to anyone else. And again, this goes back to the Democratic strategists I talked to after the election who credited that problem, that these people don't relate to the middle class, they don't relate to people in the heartland, and they've led the Democratic Party off a cliff. And now in New York, they're about to go Thelma and Louise with Mamdani.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. That crash, 7585 northbound, just north of I-20, exit 247 in downtown, has been moved off to the right. Some southbound delays as you leave the 17th Street area trying to get down to North Avenue. Also seeing some brake lights on Peachtree Street northbound out of Midtown up into Buckhead, trying to make your way past 26th Street. Traffic brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the jam cam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Y'all, Omaha Steaks already has up a tab for Thanksgiving, and they've even got one for Christmas presents. It's time to start thinking about it. Can you believe it? I mean, we got Halloween coming up here, and then you got Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you want to go to omahasteaks.com today. At checkout, see promo code ERICK. Use promo code ERICK, rather, ERICK. Minimum order required. See site for details. I got to say that, but I got to say this. Omaha Steaks is great. I've been giving it as gifts for years. I've been using it for my house for meal prep. Their steaks I've been serving to my friends for bourbon and cigar night on the front porch on Sunday nights. You get so much. My wife loves the caramel apple tartlets. I like the little mini chocolate cakes. There's so much there. omahasteaks.com. At checkout, you'll see Erick, E-R-I, or you'll see the promo code box. Put in Erick, E-R-I-C-K, and you'll save $35. You can get so much for tailgating season, for grilling season, for Thanksgiving and Christmas, gifts for other people. omahasteaks.com. Erick is your promo code at checkout.
Hey folks, it's Belinda. What you have planned this weekend? How about visiting the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market in Cumming, Friday through Sunday this weekend? Grab your spouse or your friends and go on a treasure hunt with over 500 booths. everything you can imagine, from jewelry, collectibles, sports memorabilia, antiques, furniture, handcrafts, and toys. Every aisle and row is a different adventure. Come on out this weekend to the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market, 1321 Atlanta Highway and Cumming. Visit LakewoodAntiques.com. Hey y'all, it's Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I'm so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. And Four Seasons Home Care was so helpful to my family throughout the process. I get emails from listeners all the time and why I trusted Four Seasons Home Care. They tell me I don't want just anyone to care for my parents. Well, of course you don't. So here's why I work with Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company. They vet and hire every single one of their caregiving specialists, and they don't farm out the care to contractors, and they're not some national corporation. So here's my advice, folks. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. Do your homework. This is a huge decision. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty. That's right. Fix them once and you're covered for life. Don't risk your family's safety or your peace of mind. Let A1 replace your springs before they become a problem. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one.
A1 from day one.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Okay, some good news during a challenging time for everybody, and this could really help. You may know hundreds of thousands of people have already made the switch to Medi-Share, which is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And with so many people looking at how they're paying for healthcare right now, seeing premiums going up and the cost of healthcare, Medi-Share has a special offer, and a lot of people are taking advantage of it. Just apply by October 31st, and they'll waive your new member fee. You're saving $100 right off the bat. That's just the start. Obviously, the typical family saves up to $500 a month after making the switch. And Medi-Share is a Christian community that shared more than $9 billion in medical bills over the years. It's worked beautifully for decades. I'll give you the number here in a second. If you call, you can get a price within 2 minutes. Just tell them the promo code SHARE to get your additional savings too. Here it is. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello there. Breaking news. Marjorie Taylor Greene has just sided with the Democrats again and said the Republicans in the Senate should get rid of the filibuster. Remarkable to watch. Her side with the Democrats so much. I got to play you this from Harry Enton. This just hit the wires here. This is him talking with John Berman on CNN. New polling out on the government shutdown that I think Democrats are going to have to start paying attention to.
It hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give an electorally speaking when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say they're
position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, changing the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because
yes, you like to see that. Republicans are beginning to win the shutdown fight as it goes on. Now, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College. They are my friends, and I am a big fan of theirs, and they can give you education without indoctrination. Go to ericforhillsdale.com today. Remember, it's ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College and check out their incredible options. You get free classes from Hillsdale. You don't pay a penny. They're video lectures from Hillsdale's great faculty. You learn something. You don't just get propagandized. You get education, not indoctrination. And you learn about a topic you're interested in, math and chemistry and economics. They got a great class on capitalism, one on the Federalist Papers, one on Aristotle's ethics, and they're 30-minute videos. Depending on the class, depends on how many of the videos there are, but each one is just 30 minutes, and you do it at your own pace. Comfortable at your house. If you're traveling, you watch them on your phone. You get them for free, and you get a certificate of completion when you're done. You go to ericforhillsdale.com. Find a topic. You know there's one you're interested in. Go to ericforhillsdale.com today. Sign up with Hillsdale College.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. We do have breaking news this half hour. Hurricane Melissa has made landfall.
CBS News special report. Hurricane Melissa just made landfall in southwestern Jamaica with sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. It's one of the strongest hurricanes to ever make landfall in the Atlantic. Melissa's storm surge could reach 13 feet. National Hurricane Center Director Dr. Michael Brennan.
It's going to be a very dangerous scenario is now starting to play out in the next few hours as the eye of Melissa moves across Jamaica today.
Esther Pinnock is with the Jamaica Red Cross, which handed out drinking water and hygiene kits ahead of the storm.
She's slow and she's wide, so all areas of the island are expected to feel some impact.
Evan Thompson is director of the Meteorological Service of Jamaica.
It will cause catastrophic damage, life-threatening damage. There is very little that can stop a Category 5 hurricane.
Melissa could dump 30 inches of rain, triggering landslides. CBS News special report. I'm Michael Wallace.
All right, so your weather here today, according to Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz, cloudy and breezy with an afternoon high of 57. More rain in the forecast for tomorrow. A manhunt underway as we speak here in Atlanta for a suspected murderer. Police looking for 26-year-old Farron Banks. He's wanted for the death of his stepfather, 58-year-old Michael Jackson. He was found shot at an apartment complex off Cobb Parkway. Banks' car was found here in Atlanta, in southwest Atlanta, but no sign of him. Anybody with information being asked to call 911. You're urged not to approach him. He is considered armed and dangerous. We have his picture on our website. You can take a look. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy saying air traffic controllers are not getting paid during this government shutdown, but he stresses this is not impacting the safety of air travel.
Our number one priority is safety, making sure that we don't have any incidents on our runways or in our skies.
Now, delays and cancellations are changing day by day and airport by airport. He also says the job of air traffic controllers is stressful enough and they deserve to get paid. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered powerful strikes in the Gaza Strip immediately. That's according to a statement from his office earlier. He had accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire after hostage remains were identified yesterday as the same of a deceased hostage who was previously recovered from Gaza back in 2023. Israel is also accusing Hamas of opening fire on its troops in the southern part of the region. Israeli officials reportedly showed evidence to the U.S. officials that proved a ceasefire violation, while the Trump administration said that they did not see it as a breach and urged Israel to not take any radical action. We'll be watching. It's 1:32.
Fall is a busy time, and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can receive the strongest cash offer in the industry and move when you're ready. Mark Spain Real Estate has more than 13,000 five-star reviews, so you can trust the top real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home quickly and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
You've thought about assisted living for your parents, but maybe the right answer is renovating your home and having mom or dad move in. I'm Richard, Chief Architect at Sketch House, where we create custom architectural drawings for homeowners looking to remodel. Why get drawings first? You'll know what's possible. You'll be able to get pricing and compare builders apples to apples, and builders love drawings. You'll get bumped to the top of their list with drawings in hand. Let Sketch House help you make a decision about your aging parents at a fixed price. Visit sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, HAUS.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Alex Williams has a look at the roads.
Just seeing some volume into Midtown right now. 75-85 southbound slowing 17th Street down to North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Overcast, breezy, cool today, high 57. Rain comes in for tomorrow.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, you are welcome to call in. All right. We need to talk about Mamdani. The Democrats look like they really are going off the cliff with Mamdani in New York City. He is seems very committed to being the socialist they've all wanted. He is a democratic socialist, and it seems pretty clear that he wants to take New York to the far left. It should come as no surprise to any of you that the American media has done very little vetting of Zohran Mamdani. They like him. He's one of them. He's on the left. And people in the media like people on the left, and someone on the left can get elected in New York City. But I want to play you this clip from him. This was a conversation from 2023, so only a couple of years ago. Listen to this.
The importance for me of international solidarity is that it takes me out of the American political landscape and reminds me just how tame some of the things are that I'm actually calling for, that I support. And it reminds me of the necessity of grounding ourselves in the struggles as opposed to the fights around the struggles. For anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyperlocal. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF. We are in a country where those connections abound, especially in New York City. You have so many opportunities to make clear the ways in which that struggle over there is tied to capital's interest over here.
You got that one? So the boots of the police in New York have been laced by the Israeli Defense Force. That's what Mamdani said in 2023. The guy is an anti-Semite. And the media, of course, doesn't care. The media is going to elevate this guy, and I'm glad. I'm actually glad that Zoran Mamdani is probably going to win. In fact, I got to admit, I'm going to be a little disappointed if Mamdani doesn't win. Turnout, by the way, is surging. I read somewhere that more people have already voted early in New York than everyone combined who voted in the primary election there. I really hope this guy wins because I want New Yorkers to feel the democratic socialism that they've insisted that the rest of America has to go through. See, there's a big difference here. And I think every one of you is like, oh, poor New York City. Oh, we've got to stop this guy. I think every one of you is forgetting something. They have foisted a democratic socialist on Chicago. He's now the least popular politician in that city. San Francisco went hard left, far left, and has now had to pull back. The difference between those cities and New York City is that the American Press Corps does not live there. The American Press Corps lives in New York City. The writers of the New York Times work in Midtown Manhattan. The anchors and pundits and producers and editors of CNN work at Hudson Yard. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNBC, MSNBC, they're all headquartered in New York. So they've been able to look on San Francisco, and they've been able to look on Chicago, and they've been able to look on other cities in this country that have gone really far left, and they can ignore all the bad. And many of them will be able to in New York City because they're wealthy and have drivers and live in secure buildings. But a lot of them won't. And they think it's going to be fantastic. And you know, and I know many of them will continue to say it's fantastic after they've gone off the cliff because they will be protected. What's good for them is not good for the average citizen of New York. I feel sorry for the Jews in New York City. You know what's coming for you. The billionaires will leave. Mamdani will never, ever take blame. Like Bill de Blasio, I actually think Mamdani will probably be a worse mayor than Bill de Blasio, only because de Blasio kind of knew the ins and outs of the city government in a way that Mamdani doesn't. And so he won't be able to get as much done, and he will get frustrated, and he will lash out. But I think the people of New York need a taste of the medicine that they and the media in the newsrooms of New York have long wanted the rest of us in this country to embrace. And now New York's going to get it and get it good and hard. Now, there are a lot of people who are crying about Curtis Sliwa. As I've said before, don't blame him. He got his party's nomination. Andrew Cuomo's the one who couldn't get his party's nomination. He ran a terrible primary campaign of low turnout. He's the man who killed people's grandmothers in New York, and he thinks that people should vote for him. He thinks he's entitled to their votes. He thinks he's entitled to Republican votes. His entire strategy is designed to get the Republican out of the race so he can consolidate it. And the polling shows that even if he consolidates his support and Sliwa's support, it's not enough to overcome Mamdani. The people of New York want Mamdani. They're going to get Mamdani, and I want them to have him. I want New York City to feel the policies. I want the good liberals of New York City who have long thought socialism was great. I want them to get the socialism they've wanted. I want the billionaire class of Manhattan to feel it. Because I know what's coming, and you do too. We've seen what happened in San Francisco. We've seen what happened in Chicago. And New York's a great city. I love to go walk around New York City, Central Park. During the daytime, the lights are on, the sun is shining. It's not bad. Great little restaurants. Go to the Bronx, go to the little Italian delis. They're fantastic. Even Brooklyn, for all the hipsters, got some great restaurants. Great little shops. And they're going to have to survive this. And many of them, it's what they want. There was a video yesterday. Now, listen, I'm not going to play you the video because I do not want my audience brain damaged. It was 4 women who claimed to be rabbis. Correction. It was 3 women who claim to be rabbis and one man who claims to be both a woman and a rabbi, who are saying how they're knocking on doors for Zoran Mamdani. They want him elected. He'll be great for their people. Now, first of all, if you're claiming to be a woman when you're a man and also a rabbi, first of all, did you go beyond circumcision? I don't know, but beyond that, you're not really with the tribes there, claiming to speak for people you don't really represent. These are activists. These are socialist activists, and you're about to get a guy in the mayor's office who just 2 years ago claimed that the boots of the police officers of New York City were laced up by the Jews. You're about to get a guy who a year and a half ago claimed that the police were not needed and actually made the city of New York less safe. That's right. The future mayor of New York actually argued in a debate that the police actually make New York City less safe. The very presence of the police makes you less safe in New York City. It's fantastic to watch, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see this slow-walking disaster take place. Now, for the Democrats, though, they got a problem because Mamdani is far left. He's out to lunch on a host of issues. He can't relate to the middle class. And you know and I know that the Democrats are 100% going to make this guy a poster child for the party. Look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders and AOC are regularly put on television as leading luminaries of the Democratic Party. They're viewed as leaders of the Democratic Party, more so than Chuck Schumer, more so than Hakeem Jeffries. The squad gets a lot of press attention. And Mamdani, their hero, is going to be at the center of the media universe. He's going to be beloved by the left. I can't wait to hear the conversations on CNBC. I can't wait to see which billionaires decide to get up and leave. You know, one of the things Mamdani wants to do is he wants to raise taxes on the wealthy. We had a Let's Go Brandon moment the other day. Kathy Hochul was campaigning with him, the governor of New York, and people were shouting, tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. And she claimed they were saying something else, like Let's Go Mamdani or something like that. No. They were chanting, tax the rich. You know, you can't keep the rich people in New York City. The rich people have these things called jets, and they go places where they don't have to go back to New York City. There was an interview the other day with this guy, Mamdani, and he claimed that he ran for student body, like vice president. And his platform was that all of the juices that they would be served would be locally sourced and pressed from local fruit. That if they were going to drink juice at their school, it needed to be sourced from local fruit that was freshly pressed. And he said he realized he overpromised. On Jon Stewart's show, Jon Stewart interviewed him, fawned all over him, as you would expect. And Mamdani said he was going to make buses fast and make buses free. And he was going to use a corporate tax and a millionaire's tax to help pay for everything. The corporations aren't going to stay, and the millionaires and the billionaires aren't going to stay. They're going to pack up and move to Florida. Ron DeSantis cannot wait for Zoran Mamdani to get elected. Problem is those millionaires and billionaires are going to move to Florida and turn the state blue again. I mean, these people never learn their lessons. That's the crazy thing about Democrats is they flee a state because of progressive politics and keep voting progressive and wonder why the state they got to shifted on them because you idiots kept voting Democrat. Maybe he'll radicalize people. Maybe people will finally get a clue. But I'm glad it's happening. I want the National Press Corps that has long fawned over these socialists and never really had to feel the effects of their policies. I want them to feel the policies. I want them to feel unsafe in New York City because this guy decided to defund the police. I want him to do that because the press has always kind of pretended that crime's not really a problem and socialist policies don't make crime. I want the members of the press to have to live the way people in Chicago and San Francisco have lived, that the press has said are fine. I want the press to live like the people in New Orleans have had to live. And maybe many of them will say, well, that's just the cost of living in a city, except they'll have a time before Mamdani was where things were better than it is now. I don't want bad things to happen to these people, but I want them to have to deal with the consequences of the policies they have long advocated for. And they have long advocated for the sort of socialism this guy is pushing, and so I want them to feel the effects of it. I want them to get a great taste of the medicine they've insisted the rest of us should take. I want them to feel it. And yes, there will be a lot of them who are true believers who don't have to feel the effects because of their money and their privilege. But for the rest of us, I want the producers and the editorialists and the editors who shape the news at night at ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times. I want them to get the full Mamdani. And then really 4 years from now, tell us how much they liked it.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
149 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. A few brake lights still. 75-85 northbound leaving I-20 up toward Freedom Parkway with southbound sluggish from 17th Street down toward North Avenue. Heads up in downtown. Atlanta Fire Rescue reporting there on scene of a gas leak shutting down Ponce de Leon Avenue in the area of Boulevard and Monroe Drive area. So just heads up for that. You can use North Avenue as your alternate. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of common threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, hoping with Paws Atlanta to find a home for our WSB Dog of the Month, Carlisle. About 2 sweet gray blue mix, perfect starter or family dog. Meet her at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, will pay the adoption fees for Carlisle's new humans. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, President of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
They say nothing is certain except death and taxes. Well, in Georgia, you can add roaches to that list. They're everywhere. Scott Slade here for Breda Pest Management, the folks I trust to get rid of roaches in my home. Many companies have stopped going inside homes, and they raised their prices, doing less and charging more. Ridiculous. At Breda, they handle bugs and critters inside and outside, like those disgusting roaches.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
With our weather extremes, I wanted windows that would stand the test of time. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns, and I found them. I love my Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows from North Georgia Replacement Windows. I was blown away. They're energy efficient and incredibly durable, 8 times stronger than vinyl, so they last. Experience the fiberglass difference in your home or in their new Alpharetta showroom.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
We have some breaking news as we come back. The Israeli Defense Force is bombing Gaza, it appears. Benjamin Netanyahu has directed the military to immediately carry out forceful strikes in the Gaza Strip. It turns out that Hamas did not hand over all of the remains of the hostages. They handed over pieces of the hostages that had died. And now they've attempted to hand over some more and are now acknowledging that they were handing back body parts, not actually the full remains. And the Israelis, it looks like, are about to launch some strikes in Gaza as a result. And, of course, the Democrats are saying this is all about Donald Trump. Everything is about Donald. The obsession of is just, it's wild to me. They got to make everything about Donald Trump. Meanwhile, the Democrats have just now voted for the 13th time to keep the government from reopening. Oh, my goodness gracious. These people, I want to go back to the Harry Itten. I played you the Harry Itten audio. Popularity of Republicans have gone up. I think it's so funny that Marjorie Taylor Greene is siding with the Democrats on first give health care to illegals and now also to let the Republicans kill the filibuster. I mean, she might as well become a Democrat, except she won't, because if she has a D next to her name, she'll lose her district, and she doesn't want to lose power. She's trying to build her own power base, even though she's aligning with the Democrats. She's now aligned with the Democrats on the health care benefits. She's aligned with the Democrats on what was the other one that too overbroad on deportations. She's aligned with the Democrats on getting rid of the filibuster. She's just becoming a Democrat, but she's keeping the R next to her name. She's the Cynthia McKinney of Republican politics at this point, including all the Jewish conspiracies from space lasers and the like. It's just wild to watch. Now, by the way, speaking of progressives, those of you in my home state of Georgia, remember there's an election on Tuesday. You have two communists who actually want to take over the Public Service Commission. You need to go vote if you're a Republican. I don't say communist lightly. If you're a longtime listener, you know I don't. But these two are actually wackadoo hyper-progressives. The election is on Tuesday. You can early vote this week for the incumbents. You want to vote for the incumbents, Tim Echols and Fritz Johnson, because these two progressives, embracing these progressive policies, they've actually decided they want to drive up your energy prices. They want to drive up your power bill so that you will be forced to embrace solar power. That's how they want to get solar power in the state of Georgia, is by sharing the data center AI power costs. So if we do shared equitable distribution of power rates, your rate will go up and you will be in favor of wind and solar in Georgia. I'm looking outside my window right now. It's been cloudy for 2 days. The solar panels aren't generating any power. And yet that's what these fools want to do if they get elected to the Georgia Public Service Commission. So if you're in Georgia, please go vote. Those of you in New York City, you've got the election coming up. In Mississippi, y'all have got statewide special elections in Mississippi. Pay attention to those as well. And then, of course, you've got the governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey, along with the House delegates in Virginia. Big elections coming up next week, so pay attention to them, please. And please, Georgia Republicans, go stop the communist takeover of the Public Service Commission. You've got till Tuesday. Go vote, please. I beg you. I've also got to tell you about Swiss America. They've been warning people about a secret war on cash for some time. We've got all these regional banks that apparently there are concerns about the loans they have given. And you got all sorts of alarms sounding. Swiss America wants to educate you on ways to protect your hard-earned assets right now. You can get their report, The Secret War on Cash, for free by calling or texting 800-289-2646. 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency. It's spreading. Get The Secret War on Cash report for free. Just mention Eric. You can say Eric Erickson when you call him, or just text my name. If you hate people like I do and don't want to talk to them, just text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. 800-289-2646, or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Swiss America gets you the report completely for free. Message and data rates may apply. 800-289-2646.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey y'all, it's Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I'm so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. And Four Seasons Home Care was so helpful to my family throughout the process. I get emails from listeners all the time and why I trusted Four Seasons Home Care. They tell me I don't want just anyone to care for my parents. Well, of course you don't. So here's why I work with Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company. They vet and hire every single one of their caregiving specialists, and they don't farm out the care to contractors, and they're not some national corporation. So here's my advice, folks. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. Do your homework. This is a huge decision. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Veronica Waters. The news this hour is brought to you by Bread Beckers. WSB's top story.
You're going to have entire areas that are decimated to a large extent.
A slow yet violent Hurricane Melissa churns onto Jamaica.
CBS News special report. Hurricane Melissa has made landfall in southwestern Jamaica as a Category 5 storm. Its winds at 185 miles per hour. The National Hurricane Center's Michael Brennan.
It's going to be a very dangerous scenario now starting to play out in the next few hours as the eye of Melissa moves across Jamaica today. Catastrophic wind damage expected in the eye wall, total building failures.
CBS's Jason Allen is in Kingston.
There are not many places, not much infrastructure in the U.S. that is built to withstand that. Maybe up to a 3, but a 5 is really questionable. But a lot of people are staying in their homes. They feel that they've made it through past storms, and they feel that they'll make it through this one.
Anna Kay on why more people didn't heed the warnings.
The last big storm that we had, major hurricane we had, was 37 years ago. So a lot of our population has never seen anything like this. So trying to get people to take it absolutely serious has been a bit of a struggle.
CBS News special report. I'm Cammie McCormick.
Stay with WSB for continuing team coverage of Hurricane Melissa. It's 54 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz is forecasting a cloudy high in the upper 50s today. Atlanta's most accurate, dependable forecast is coming up. Air traffic controllers get their first $0 paycheck today as the government shutdown drags on. Nicole Surinis has worked in the tower at Hartsfield-Jackson since 2009, and she says this is not about politics.
This is absolutely a safety issue when it comes to aviation maintenance and everything else with that. People need to be put back to work. People need to be paid for it.
Workers at 20 other U.S. airports are passing out leaflets today to passengers detailing the impact of the shutdown. Two parents face multiple child cruelty charges after their 5-month-old daughter is found with severe injuries. William King and Amber Riviera are behind bars this morning after their daughter's found with 30 broken bones in Lithia Springs. The Department of Natural Resources unanimously approves an increase in parking fees for visitors to state parks. Prices will double in many instances. For single day passes, it's $5 now, going up to $10 a day. The nation's obesity rate is down for the first time in more than a dozen years.
Obesity rates in the U.S. have fallen from almost 40% to 37%, the first time that's happened in 15 years. That's according to a survey by the Gallup National Health and Wellbeing Index, which has just been released. The decline may be due to those injectable weight loss drugs like Ozempic or Wegovy. While Americans are losing weight, the survey also finds that diagnosis of diabetes have now reached an all-time high, 13.8%. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather next. It's 2:03.
Hi, I'm Dallas, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. You know she loves her Shane Company engagement ring, but you also want to surprise her for her birthday, anniversary, or just because she deserves it. Why not get her a bigger diamond with our easy trade-up program? We'll give you the full credit of your original natural diamond purchase toward a new one. Her new diamond only has to be $1 more. You only pay the difference. How's that for an easy trade-up? Visit us in-store or at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Don't be haunted by those old stains in your carpet. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning to get 3 rooms cleaned for only $129. Mention WSB when you call or schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, it's the right way to clean.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Dave Baker here for Randall Brothers. You know, I talk to a lot of quality contractors and builders every week, and I ask them, how do you manage to get all the right materials delivered to your site? The answer is always Randall Brothers. Turns out, that's what Randall Brothers does. Make sure you have the right materials delivered to the right place, hassle-free. And they've been doing that for over 140 years. With the widest selection of quality building materials delivered to your build site with no hassle, it's no wonder Randall Brothers is trusted by the pros. See more at randallbrothers.com.
2:05 live team coverage of traffic and weather begins with Alex Williams bringing us an update on the midday commute in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Not terrible out there right now, Veronica. Good afternoon. But we do have a big jam up in Cherokee County, up into Canton at Holly Springs. Crash 575 northbound before Highway 140 exit 16. At least one lane block there. You're slow before Holly Springs Parkway. You can use Highway 5 or Bells Ferry. And we also had a crash just cleared out of travel lanes. Everything back open here. The 75 southbound low ramp to I-285 eastbound, the inner loop there in Cobb County, adjacent to Truist Park. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Will stay cloudy, breezy, and cool today. Highs in the mid-50s. A few showers coming in tonight. Better rain chances on Wednesday. Up to an inch of rain. North Metro, less than a half. South Metro, low 49, high 55 on Wednesday. Then mostly cloudy but drying out Thursday, high 57.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather brought to you by Bread Beckers. It's 52 degrees in Conyers, 51 in Clarkston, 54 in Midtown Atlanta at 2:06. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Across the United States of America, I am delighted to have you with me this afternoon or evening, whenever you're listening to the show, but you should be listening live because, you know, by the time you get to the podcast, the news has changed, and I like to do the news fresh out of the gate. And there is news. The United States has blown up 4 more boats in the Pacific that were coming in from Mexico, purported to be drug dealer boats. That is what we are told, at least. This from the New York Times. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the United States military has destroyed 4 more vessels in the eastern Pacific Ocean on Monday, killing 14 people. The biggest one-day toll since the campaign began last month. One person survived, he said, and Mexican officials had assumed responsibility for the rescue. Mr. Hegseth did not provide evidence for the administration's contention that the vessels were smuggling drugs, the basis for an operation that has killed at least 57 people. Gregory Bravino, the Border Patrol leader who has become a face of the administration's immigration crackdown, is being questioned by a federal judge about the tactics agents are using in the Chicago area, including the use of tear gas. All of this while the president is in Asia for various summits. Now, I want to get to the immigration crackdown here and then jump back to the boats because they're somewhat related. I'm going to read you this from Bill Malugin. It depends on who you talk to, how you pronounce it. I can't remember, honestly. I've always said Bill Malugin. And I want to say that Bill does great work. He's probably the most informed person when it comes to immigration in this country. And I'm a little bit concerned that Bari Weiss is trying to steal all these good people from Fox News, and she may try to steal him, too, to cover immigration. But he writes this: per 4 senior DHS and Trump administration sources, a mass removal of ICE leadership around the country is underway, with up to 12 ICE field office chiefs being removed and reassigned in an effort to increase deportation numbers. I'm told the move is spearheaded by Corey Lewandowski, and a handful of the ICE chiefs will likely be replaced by Border Patrol and CBP officials, some of whom will be handpicked by aggressive and controversial Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino. I'm told some of the ICE leadership removed from their positions include the ICE field office directors in Los Angeles, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Denver, El Paso, San Diego, Seattle, Portland, and New Orleans. Seattle and Portland share an office. Border Patrol officials taking over ICE leadership position would be extremely significant as Border Patrol and ICE do different things. And I've done numerous ride-alongs in beds with both. Generally speaking, ICE typically conducts very targeted operations, largely going after criminal illegal aliens or those with deportation orders, but almost always knowing who they're targeting for arrest, often conducting surveillance to learn their schedules before and waiting before arresting them if needed. Border Patrol under Trump 2.0, while sometimes doing their own targeted operations, has been very aggressive and has been at the forefront of some of the most controversial immigration enforcement operations we've seen so far, carrying out roving patrols in Los Angeles, Chicago, etc., often at Home Depot, car washes, flea markets, etc., leading to a handful of federal judges around the country issuing injunctions against them. A majority of the viral videos you see online are Border Patrol agents, including the use of a Trojan horse-style Penske moving truck at a Los Angeles Home Depot, an operation organized by Bavino. ICE often gets blamed for what Border Patrol does, as the media and activists often cannot tell the difference between federal agents, and everyone is called ICE. I'm told there are growing concerns about the political and PR fallout associated with some of the roving patrols Border Patrol is conducting as lawsuits continue to stack up in the midterms approach next year. I'm told there is significant friction within different wings of DHS and the administration, with Border Czar Tom Homan and ICE Director Todd Lyons preferring to prioritize targeting criminal aliens and the worst of the worst, or those with deportation orders, while Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem, Corey Lewandowski, and Border Patrol Commander Bavino prefer to use aggressive tactics to arrest anyone in the U.S. illegally, including but not limited to criminals, to ramp up deportation numbers. I'm hearing from both sides of this friction. Can we be mature adults for just a moment? I want you to play a thinking game. We get into next year, and it turns out that some of the speedboats that had been blown up weren't drug runners, but were innocent people. What do you think that's going to do in the minds of independent voters? Remember, the people out of power tend to be more mobilized to go vote. What do you think that's going to do to independent voters if they learn that the American government has been killing innocent people in the Caribbean and the Pacific? What do you think that's going to do? If you think it's not going to do anything, you need to think again. But here's the thing. I don't actually think this is going to happen, because I tend to agree with Don, the caller the other day who had been in the Coast Guard, that they actually have good intelligence and that they do know what's going on. And I think that most Americans will support blowing up drug dealers. But let's get to Malughan's piece. We know there have been a handful of American citizens who were rounded up, Americans, staring at the camera, saying, my name is whatever, saying, my name is whatever. I was arrested by ICE because of my skin color. I'm born in the United States. I'm an American citizen, but I was detained by my government thinking I was an illegal alien because of the way I looked. You know damn well those ads are coming. And I can tell you from groups that are pro-Trump, that support Hispanic voters, that they've been warning the White House for some time that Hispanic voters are starting to shift dramatically because of this issue. Every single Hispanic voter in this country is in favor of the deportations of the gangbangers and the criminals and most of the illegal aliens who came here under Joe Biden. You know who they're not really happy about getting deported? The old woman who's been here for 30 years, the family that's been here for decades. They're not really happy about that. You may be happy about that, but you've also got to win elections. You've also got to win elections. As Bill Malughan points out, the difference between ICE and the Border Patrol is that ICE has not gotten sloppy. Border Patrol has gotten sloppy repeatedly. And frankly, if Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski are in charge of the project, it's probably going to get screwed up. Bovino is a hard charger who wants every illegal alien in the United States rounded up and deported, and you probably do as well. In theory, I do too, but, and yes, there is a but. Do we want to put the grandmother who's been here for 30, 40 years making tortillas, the local Mexican restaurant, ahead of the Trinidad gangbanger? If you say, well, just round them all up, it doesn't matter, there's no priority, you may feel right about yourself, but as I say to candidates when they're running for office, know when you're in the minority, even when you think you're right. And you're in the minority there. Because a lot of the people who want the illegal aliens rounded up and thrown out, they were thinking about the gangbangers and the wave of humanity that came over when Joe Biden was president. They actually weren't thinking about the grandmother at the local tortilla shop who's been here for a very long time. They weren't thinking about those people. They weren't thinking about their gardener. And there's got to be a balance there. If there is political blowback on this, the blowback is going to come before the midterm elections. And if the Democrats do take back the House, I don't think they'll take back the Senate. If they take back the House, you can be sure Donald Trump is going to be impeached. It won't be confirmed by the Senate. They don't have the votes in the Senate. But it's going to be captivating to watch if this is the case. When you have these people, these American citizens who've been rounded up, it's just Border Patrol's been sloppy. And that's the bottom line. Whether you want these people deported or not, when they're rounding up American citizens, it's sloppy. And it's happened more than once. One time is too many when we're talking about these sorts of things because it gives the president a black eye, and it's not his fault. He committed to rounding up the illegal aliens. But what did the president say repeatedly? Prioritizing, and this is what Tom Homan said, prioritizing the gangbangers and the criminals. We still have a lot of gangbangers and criminals in this country who shouldn't be here. Maybe wait for grandma until after you get them done, you get them deported. Politics does matter, you understand. Politics matters. You may like the policies, but the politics of it matter because there's an election that comes up next year. And the party out of power tends to have the most energy going into that election. And when they are combined with independent voters and Hispanic voters who believe they were lied to about how the immigration effort was going to go, the president could be in trouble. The only saving grace for the president is that the Democrats are so bat crap crazy and so insane and so unchained when it comes to immigration. A lot of people may say, yeah, I don't like it, but I still prefer him to them. And that would be a bad thing for us. I'm just saying, you've got to worry that the Border Patrol is being elevated over ICE, because ICE has not given the president a single black eye in this. Not a single bit of negative press has been because of the actual ICE agents. Now, they get blamed, but it's not them, it's the Border Patrol. And it is the Border Patrol that has rounded up American citizens by accident and legal resident aliens by accident. And there becomes a compelling case to make in an ad campaign for the Democrats, who probably aren't smart enough to pull it off, where you put on camera these American citizens and legal resident aliens who were detained and had to prove they deserve to be here, prove they were American citizens. And you shouldn't have to do that as an American citizen. You should not have to prove yourself to be an American to American authorities. They should know before they get you. And that's what ICE does, not what Border Patrol does. Don't be mad at me for telling you the truth here. This is a political hot potato that could blow up in the president's face. We do not want Democrats taking back the House of Representatives next year. And by wanting us not to have the Democrats taking back the House next year, we need to be on our A game at all times. Amateurish mistakes by the Border Patrol hurt the president and the Republicans' ability to hold on to power next year. The Democrats are already hyping this up as Donald Trump is going to steal the election no matter what they do. That may suppress the Democratic vote. It would be hilarious if it did. But we can't afford mistakes. And Border Patrol makes mistakes at this. There have already been a couple. There will be more, and they will be used against the GOP in the midterm elections if we're not careful.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center still stacked up 575 northbound between Holly Springs and Canton due to a crash just before Highway 140 exit 16. You can use Highway 5 or Bells Ferry as alternates. Elsewhere, we're seeing some brake lights on I-20 eastbound the West Freeway. Just volume, though, from Riverside Parkway over to 285, the West Side Perimeter. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Get ready for another Powerball jackpot tomorrow. Powerball players can win millions playing in-store or online at galottery.com. Only from the Georgia Lottery. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Want to save 1,000 bones on your next roof? Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Right now, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. FindlayRoofing.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. we will present the portfolio x-ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well. And I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on select varieties of Kroger brand cheese. 6 to 8 ounce packs are only $1.79 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Did you know the water pressure regulator is the heartbeat of every home? It can affect all things in your plumbing system, and when it's not regulated, it is the main cause of most plumbing problems. They only last about 8 years. Have Superior Plumbing check yours.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Welcome back. There's some breaking news for those of you in Dayton, Ohio, and you can keep up with WHIO there, my station there, and WHIO TV as well. There's been a double murder-suicide at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It happened over the weekend, not on base grounds, it appears, though. First Lieutenant Jamie Gustitus, 25, worked for the 711th Human Performance Wing as part of the Air Force Research Laboratory. Jamie Pritchard, 33, worked for the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. Jacob Pritchard was part of the Air Force Research Laboratory. It appears, based on the statements, that Jacob killed his wife, Jamie, either during or late hours Friday night or early Saturday morning. They lived in Huber Heights, and where the location where Jamie was killed is unknown at the time. Jacob put her body in the trunk, drove to West Milton Municipal parking lot, exited the car and shot himself. Just awful. Also apparently broke into Gustis' apartment and killed her. All three employees at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. The Air Force has just released the statement saying they're saddened by the tragic events, and their thoughts and prayers are with families and loved ones affected. And we stand with them as they navigate the unimaginable pain. And they're still trying to figure out what happened. So this happened over the weekend period, and now the Air Force, of course, saying releasing the statement as all three were employees at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base there just outside Dayton, Ohio. You can tune in WHIO there for more. Just hit the wires, though. I had not heard about that story. My goodness gracious. Oh, awful stuff. When we come back, the President of the United States is in Asia, and he has spent a great deal of time in Japan with the new Japanese prime minister, the first female prime minister of Japan, who is a heavy metal fan, played in a heavy metal band, and is a huge Margaret Thatcher fan. She's also a staunch conservative, wants to rebuild the Japanese military, and is a huge free trader. And she and the president have hit it off watching Ohtani play in the World Series, and he seems to be a big fan of hers and her of his and of the United States. Is it not just, I don't know, it speaks highly of our country. For those Democrats, where only a third of them take pride in the country, I find it just a remarkable thing that some of our strongest allies are the countries that we destroyed at war, whether it's Japan or, United Kingdom or France, or well, not France, they've always been around, Germany, Italy. It's remarkable how these countries that we fought have become such great allies of ours, the Japanese especially, considering the bombs we dropped on them. Now, let me tell you about Vision Computers, because they would love to be your ally in business if you have managed IT. You know your employees could be having to file email tickets or deal with chatbots. And with Vision Computer, what sets them apart is they actually get a phone number they call, and in 15 seconds or less, they can get the answer to what's plaguing them by an actual human being. They can save your company money. Your employees can be focused on their jobs, while Vision Computer is focused actually on your computers and boosting your uptime. VisionComputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. Call them at 404-COMPUTE and tell them Eric sent you, and they may be able to save you some money. And you get live human beings. And by the way, you can do this for yourself at your home. If you are tired of having to figure out what's going on with your computer, call Vision Computers at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them I sent you. Or go to VisionComputers.com, and they can upgrade your computer or build you a computer. If they build you your computer, their tech support comes free. VisionComputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. Save you some money, keep you up and running, and boost your profitability for your business with Vision Computers.
When the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by them.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It's 2:30. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this half hour is brought to you by FGA Roofing. WSB's top story: the largest ever storm to hit Jamaica makes landfall with winds upwards of 185 miles per hour. The rare Category 5 Hurricane Melissa's eye wall is already bringing catastrophic damage. Attorney Michelle Robinson, with offices in New York and Jamaica, couldn't secure everything in time to get out.
Because of how the building is designed, we're not really able to board up the windows, so we're just hoping for the best.
Local media say roads and bridges are already impassable in some neighborhoods, and power outages have begun. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says air traffic controllers aren't getting paid during the government shutdown, but he stresses this is not affecting the safety of air travel. Not so, says Nicole Surinis, who's been an air traffic controller at Hartsfield-Jackson for 16 years.
Every day this goes on, it's compounding.
Air traffic controllers received their first $0 paycheck today. Marietta police continue their hunt for a man believed to be armed and dangerous. He's accused of shooting and killing his stepfather. 26-year-old Farron Banks is wanted for the death of 58-year-old Michael Jackson, who was found shot at an apartment complex off Cobb Parkway.
Working with license plate reader technology and with assistance from the Atlanta Police Department, that suspect vehicle was located in the middle of the night down in southwest Atlanta.
Chuck McPhillamy with Marietta Police tells us Banks still hasn't been found. Anybody with information on his location is asked to call 911 right away. The obesity rate in the U.S. is declining. After peaking at a record high of 39.9% in 2022, the rate's gradually declined to 37% this year. That's according to the Gallup National Health and Well-Being Index. Could be, they say, due to these new weight loss drugs. It's 2:31. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
Fall is a busy time, and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can bypass the market, receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry, and close in as little as 21 days. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
It's time to renovate your home and you've got designs in your head, but will they pass code? Hire Sketchhouse Architects before you call a builder to make sure your design is up to code and zoning compliant. Hi, I'm Richard Taylor, architect at Sketchhouse. We're going to make this easy to get your ideas on paper, and Sketchhouse will connect you with multiple builders to bid on your job through the Sketchhouse Builders Network. You're going to save thousands of dollars with Sketchhouse Architects. We're going to make this easy for you. Go to sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, H-A-U-S, sketchhouse.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
With the cooler weather coming, you've got blankets on the couch, fuzzy slippers, and the cozy sweaters at the ready. It's Ashley Frasca for Ragsdale, and as temperatures start to drop, my friends at Ragsdale Heating and Air want to make sure your home is ready for colder weather. Plan now for a fall furnace tune-up and safety inspection. Ragsdale will take care of it for $79 and make sure you're ready to host all of your friends for the big games. And Ragsdale is offering monthly payments as low as $119 a month for a brand new home comfort system through October. Ragsdale is the name I know you can trust. I've trusted their skilled technicians in my home for years, and many of the technicians have been with Ragsdale for decades. That's one of the reasons why Ragsdale has over 10,000 five-star reviews and a 4.9 rating. I trust Ragsdale's 15-year parts and labor warranty on new systems. It isn't some third-party warranty. It's Ragsdale's own warranty. It's completely bonded with the state of Georgia. Schedule your next visit online at ragsdaleair.com or give them a call. Ragsdale and Carrier, turn to the experts.
2:34 live team coverage of traffic and weather begins this half hour with Alex Williams.
Better news up in Canton out of Holly Springs. Crash cleared 575 northbound, Highway 140 exit 16. All lanes open there. And lanes starting to reopen on Ponce de Leon Avenue near Boulevard Monroe Drive area where we had an earlier gas leak, but Atlanta Fire says that has been capped and things should return to normal. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Overcast, breezy, cool today, high 57. Rain comes in for tomorrow.
53 degrees now in Hiram, 53 in Hampton, and 55 in Midtown Atlanta at 2:35. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, would be delighted to have you with me. Do you know the president has gotten another peace deal done? Have you heard about this one? He negotiated it as well with the Malaysians. It is peace between Thailand and Cambodia. Kind of a big deal. This is the Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for giving us this honor. And on behalf, of course, Malaysia and our colleagues in ASEAN, I must thank you for your concern, for your empathy, and for your commitment to support this peace deal. When I first received your call and then urging me to do more, supporting our initiative, and you personally did call both prime ministers to urge for a speedy peace settlement, I would say a great thank you. And we, of course, admire your tenacity, your courage, because the world needs leaders who promote peace strongly, and to achieve that, you have to break some rules, as you did today. When President arrived, he asked me to join him in the car. I said that's against the security and protocol rules, and he was delighted to break the rules, and I. Nice ride. It was a nice ride. And we share a lot of things in common.
And this is the president as well.
Well, this is so exciting because we did something that a lot of people said couldn't be done, and we saved maybe millions of lives on this one peace deal itself. And I'll tell you what makes me so happy is the two countries we're dealing with, and the third that helped so much. I appreciate so much. Maybe it couldn't have been done without you, but they really like each other. I'm not used to that when I do these deals. Usually there's a lot of hatred. They liked each other, so it made it a little bit easier. But millions of people are alive today because of this peace treaty. So before I begin, I want to extend our deepest condolences to the Prime Minister, Newton, as well as His Majesty, the King of Thailand, and the entire nation on the passing of Her Majesty, Queen Sirikhet, the Queen Mother, and a beautiful, incredible woman who is so respected all over the world, actually respected. I know the people of Thailand will remember her forever as the embodiment of dignity, kindness, and grace. This just happened. But this is a woman who is so loved and respected. Today we honor the memory by bringing the blessing of peace to the nation she dearly loved. She loved this nation like few people love their nations. This is a momentous day for all of the people of Southeast Asia as we sign a historic agreement to end the military conflict between Cambodia and Thailand.
Now, what actually happened here is that Thailand and Cambodia have a disputed border, and both parties have agreed to remove heavy weapons from the disputed border territory and to work together to clear each other's landmines, and they're going to set up a task force to deal with the proliferation of scam centers of people who are scamming Westerners through Cambodia and Thailand, and they're also going to work on putting up border markers in the disputed territory. A lot of people are dismissing this, but the Thai Prime Minister has said that he actually does believe pressure from the Americans got both parties to resolve the situation. Us promising better trade deals to Cambodia got Cambodia to the table. Us supporting the Thais have got them to the table. We've got a long history with Thailand. You know, Thailand was one of the very few countries in Southeast Asia not colonized by the French or the British. That's kind of what what was it? The King and I, what the musical is about. With Yul Brynner, I watched that movie as a kid. I loved that movie as a kid. In any event, the president has been able to bring peace, and then he went from there to Japan. Now, I got to make a point here first, and I made it yesterday, but it's worth talking about again. The president of the United States went to Israel, went to Egypt, came back, and then went to Malaysia, went to Japan, now to South Korea. He's just traveling all over the place. He's 80 years old, roughly. He's traveling in ways Joe Biden couldn't, and yet the media is suddenly deeply concerned about the president's health and well-being in ways they never were with Joe Biden. Now, I kind of would be too, given the way the man is just traveling everywhere, but at the same time, he's traveling everywhere and he's holding up. It's kind of a big deal. On top of that, the U.S. and Japan have now signed a trade deal. The Japanese are going to get more missiles, and they're going to get F-35s. The Prime Minister says Toyota is going to build more factories in the United States. I got to say, you know, I love Toyota. I try to get my son to get into a 4Runner. My forever vehicle, when I finally can downsize for my Denali, and I love my Denali, but I want one of those Lexus SUVs that's built on the Land Cruiser frame. Those are sharp-looking vehicles to me, and they last forever. And I'll never need another vehicle. But Toyota's going to be building more in this country. The Prime Minister of Japan and the President completely hit it off. She's a baseball fan and obviously loves Ohtani, so she's a big Dodgers fan. So they were watching the World Series on television together, rooting against the Canadians, apparently, eating lunch at Akasaka Palace in Tokyo. And also they were mutual friends with Shinzo Abe, the assassinated Prime Minister of Japan. So he is, again, transforming the world one nation at a time, two nations at a time, with peace. The Middle East peace looks like it may be falling apart because of Hamas, but the president will be okay if it falls apart because of Hamas, because he doesn't like Hamas anyway. And the other Arab nations and Muslim nations around the world are ready to get rid of Hamas. So this will just give the president an opportunity to further transform the Middle East and maybe build a Trump hotel in Gaza. You never know. This is Trump's world. We just live in it. I saw a progressive this morning talking about how Republicans tend to vomit praise. That was the phrase, vomit praise about Trump. You know, the reality is I'm a Trump critic. I can support him, but I can also criticize him. And his supporters don't like it when I criticize him. But what I have found is that for all the people who are his hardcore supporters who get mad at me when I criticize it, the people who get mad at me the most are the progressives who just can't welcome any credit to Trump. Look at the Middle East peace deal. It is even Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden were willing to, by name, give Donald Trump credit for getting the hostages returned. And your average Democrat can't bring themselves to it. They can't bring themselves to be intellectually honest about what's happening. He deserves praise. He deserves praise for helping Armenia and Azerbaijan come to terms, and in Pakistan and India, and Thailand and Cambodia. He deserves praise for helping get the last of the living hostages out of the custody of Hamas. He deserves praise for these things. I'm perfectly willing to criticize him when I feel the need, but I don't understand the people who can't bring themselves to credit the things Donald Trump has done that are good. They just can't bring themselves to appreciate that he's done good things. There's always some sinister underlying motivation that they interpret from whatever he is doing. But he's got some great policies out there. The Chinese have decided to hoard rare earth minerals, and now the U.S. and Japan have decided to boost the supply chain between each other of rare earth minerals to combat what the Chinese are doing. This is good. And the New York Times tries to say, well, we're not really changing a whole lot. Well, we're not changing a whole lot. Okay, that's true. But we're changing some things, and the things we're changing need to be changed, and they're good. It's just kind of remarkable to see how some people just flat out refuse to give Trump credit for the good things he's done. And it's not just partisanship. They're just some people who are deeply broken. But to them, to all of you, I say, at this point, it's kind of Donald Trump's world, and we're just living in it. Now, to Gary in Jacksonville, let's go to the phones here, 877-973-7425. Gary, welcome to the show. How are you?
Very good, Eric. I enjoy your show. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I have four comments.
All right.
20,000, I don't know what the right number is, but let's call it 20 million illegals came in under Biden. And if you're trying to collect anywhere near that number, you're going to make a few mistakes, number one. Second comment I have is you said you're against tariffs. To me, the tariffs have brought in, trillions of dollars to our economy. Fuel prices are down, food prices are down, home values, are attractive. To me, bringing in this extra money to our country and the economy doing well, stock market doing well, I don't see a problem with the tariffs. The third comment I make is the president, it's amazing to me, gets respected everywhere he goes. You had mentioned Malaysia just a minute ago, Japan, and I'm not just talking about the world leaders, I'm talking about the citizens. You see them driving down the road and they're waving, and they can't wait for President Trump to be seen, even just in a motorcade. Yet we have people on The View, Whoopi Goldberg, the media, and a bunch of liberals, and he gets disrespected here in our country, and it makes me sick. Even if you don't like Trump, he's our president. And then the last comment I'm going to make is more of a question. You have said repeatedly, and in fact a few minutes ago, that there are many things you disagree with that Trump does, and I'd like to know what they are. Because personally, no one's perfect, as I mentioned in my first comment, but I'm pretty much in favor of everything he's done so far. And with that, I can either stay on the line or I can take it offline.
Yep.
whatever
All
you
right.
prefer.
Yeah. Just listen to me here offline on WOKV, Gary. Okay. So let's start with the deportations of 20 million. Now, even the Trump campaign actually says, or Trump team says 14 to 15 million illegal immigrants are here. And that's not all that came over from Biden. That is, most of them are, but a lot of them have been here for a while. And you say mistakes happen, but here's the problem. Mistakes can't happen. Mistakes will happen when you're trying to round up that many people rapidly. And the problem with that is when the mistake involves the arrest of an American citizen, that's illegal. And by the way, there's no qualified immunity for the Border Patrol agent. When you arrest an American citizen improperly, there's no qualified immunity for that person because it was settled by the Supreme Court that you can't detain an American citizen without cause. And because you've detained the American citizen without cause, and by the way, confusing them for someone else is not proper cause. You, the American taxpayer, Gary, you're paying that person a lot of money. And then that person shows up in an ad campaign for the midterms and it costs the Republican seats in Congress. You can't make those mistakes because not only is it a financial liability for you and me as taxpayers, it's a massive political liability for the GOP. And we've got to stop the Democrats. We've got to stop the Democrats. On the tariff issue, it hasn't been trillions of dollars that have been brought in. It's been billions of dollars. Where's the money coming from? It's Economics 101. The money for tariffs is coming from you and me when we buy stuff, or it's coming from the companies importing stuff. Now, here's the way it's worked in practice. Some of what's happening is the companies manufacturing the goods abroad are lowering their price and just eating it so that when they sell it to these two companies here and they pay the tariff, because it's the American company that pays the tariff, it's not the foreign company. So when the American company pays the tariff, they're actually paying what they were paying before because the company abroad lowered the price so much. But some of those things are being passed on to you and me. So take Carter's, for example. It's going to shut 150 stores. It's going to lay off several thousand employees. Why? Because they can't keep absorbing the costs of the tariffs they're paying. So they're passing them on to consumers, and consumers are buying less. So the tariffs are directly related to unemployment for people who work at Carter's. The tariffs are directly related to the failure of wages to grow at small businesses in the country because what those small businesses are doing, they have to pay the tariff. Again, American companies pay the tariff. The importer pays the tariff, not the exporter. So it's the American company that pays the tariff. And to the extent that the exporter hasn't reduced the price enough, well, you're paying more as a small business to bring these things in, and you either absorb the cost or you pass it on to consumers, and sometimes you can't pass it on to consumers. So what are you doing? You're not hiring. You're not giving pay raises, and now we got inflation at 3%. So inflation is at 3%, and now wage growth in this country has slipped below 3% again, and every economist left, right, and center, except those in the White House, is tying it to tariffs. Why? Because American companies are paying more for the imports, and they can't pay higher wages now. So as inflation has gone back up and wage growth is now slower than inflation, people are falling behind again, and it's now Trump's economy, not Joe Biden's economy, and that is the problem with tariffs. And so you ask what I disagree with, tariffs. Instead of tariffing every country on the planet because he claims that other countries tariff us, and it's not actually true, we're exempt from their tariffs, he should target China. He should not target China and India together because we need to be able to manufacture products in India to compete with China. But he decided to target India and China with punitive tariffs, not just China, and that screws up the American manufacturing base of companies that can't repatriate. You can't bring the iPhone back to the United States and make it in the United States without it being extremely expensive, but you can make it cheaply in India or Vietnam, but the president has taxed both of those countries in ways that still drive up the price. Apple was willing to pack up its entire assembly line from China and put it in India, and then the president imposed punitive tariffs on India, and it messed up Apple's play that would have benefited you and me. So tariffs, I disagree with him on. I have disagreed with him in the past on Ukraine, but I think he's seen the light and is now siding with Ukraine. I've certainly disagreed with him on that. I've also disagreed with the president on some of the fixation of some of the people around him that he has humored over the years that I think are not great people that he doesn't need to platform. I've disagreed with him on that. I'm sure there are other things I have disagreed with the president on over time. I'm sure there are. But there's no reason to dwell on the disagreements when there's a lot I'm getting from him. But when I do disagree with him, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. It's not my job to humor the president. If anything, one of the things I complain about the most is there are too many people on the right now who were perfectly fine when you disagree with George W. Bush, but they can't abide any criticism of Donald Trump. And that suggests there's a growing immaturity in our ranks that you, as someone from the right, can't criticize people on the right. And that's just not my thing.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
252 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Seeing some afternoon volume fill in into the heart of the city. 85 southbound getting a little sluggish as you leave Georgia 400. 75, 85 southbound. Those delays picking up as well. 17th Street down toward I-20. And 85 north out of the cabin and Gwinnett tapping the brakes from 285 up to Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Traffic brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $714 million with bigger jackpots, better odds, and built-in multipliers. Drawings every Tuesday and Friday. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Chris Chandler, and Wednesday at 5 on Atlanta's Morning News, Clark Howard on how high school grads can create a more profitable future for themselves and what you need to know before the day's major money announcement, too, on WSB.
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The three most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all three. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
Call 800-838-8614. 800-838-8614. That's 800-838-8614.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The 4 Things You Need to Know podcast, giving you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app, or by texting Eric to 33777.
If you got the show notes today, you text Eric to 33777. You get the show notes. You get the 4 things to know this afternoon. You got all the latest info on Hurricane Melissa. It has now made landfall in Jamaica with 185-mile-per-hour winds. The Category 5 storm, one of the strongest ever hit Jamaica. Be in prayer for those people, and it will continue sailing on. Now, I need to tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. I would love for you to go check out oldglorybank.com/Eric. It is a bank for, well, people like you and me, who you are conservatives. You're a little bit worried about how progressives have used banks to bully people. Old Glory Bank was set up by conservatives for conservatives. They believe in your freedoms. Some banks, they even restrict the sorts of things you can use your debit card for, even though they're lawful purchases. Old Glory Bank believes in your freedom, and they're happy for you to have a checking account with them. I've got the no-fee checking and the no-fee savings account with them. I was a customer before I was an advertiser, by the way. I sought them out as an advertiser because I really love the concept. I can even deposit cash. I had an online bank, and I couldn't deposit cash, and I left them for Old Glory Bank because they figured it out. And if you're a veteran, a first responder, you're active duty military, they got great, great discounts for you. oldglorybank.com/Eric is where you want to go. Full service bank nationwide. You can do mortgages, CDs, checking accounts, savings accounts. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Buying a new car? Need help fixing your current car? What's the safest car for a first